You know, it's Halloween. I guess everyone's entitled to one good scare, huh?
Headbands watching on the beat. The 80s and 90s just can't be beat. Dope rhymes and question jaws. Let's blast and take that shit off cards. 80s dreams and 90s haze. Let's recall back to our favorite days. Welcome days!
Hello and welcome to Totally 80s and 90s Recall. On this podcast, we take a radical ride through the greatest moments in music, movies, and pop culture from back in the 1980s and 90s. If you're new to the show, we're so excited that you joined us today. And for our awesome returning listeners and subscribers, it's great to have you back. I am one of your hosts, David, joined as always by my co-host, fella nostalgia junkie, and like any good Robster, just keeps coming back no matter what I do. It's my good friend, Rob.
I don't really have a choice.
I know.
Oh, baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw.
Hey, today's episode goes out to all of you ghosties and ghoulies out there. The Totally 80s and 90s Recall crew knows it is close to midnight and something evil is lurking in the dark under the moonlight. Maybe you've seen a sight that almost stopped your heart and you tried to scream, but terror took the sound before you made it. Maybe you froze as horror looked you right between the eyes. You were paralyzed. Maybe you heard the door slam and realized there is nowhere left to run. Maybe you have felt a cold hand and wondered if you would ever see the sun. You closed your eyes and hoped that it was just your imagination, but all the while you heard a creature creeping up behind. If you hear nothing from today's episode, the Totally 80s and 90s Recall team wants you to at least hear this. You're out of time. There's no second chance against the thing with 40 eyes. 40 eyes, you guys. We know you were fighting for your life inside a killer thriller. The night creatures are going to call. They will call, Dave. And the dead will start walking in their masquerade. There is no escaping the jaws of the alien this time, and they are open wide. Trust me, I've seen it. It's not good. This is the end of your life, and they are out to get you. There are demons closing in on every side, and they will possess you unless you change that number on your dial. You best get to calling your service provider immediately. But most importantly, now is the time for you and that special someone to cuddle close together all through the night. All through the night. They will save you from the terror on the screen because they can thrill you more than any ghoul would ever dare try. So let the Total 80s, 90s Recall team hold you tight and share a killer thriller. Guaranteed, we are going to thrill you tonight. There you go.
That part about holding tight
Yeah.
got a little sexier than I was expecting.
I know. I was not.
Hold me tight.
Yes, it's time to cuddle.
Hold me tight.
Get close together.
That just sounds like my arm's going to fall.
Did you write that?
No.
I've never heard that before.
Oh, yes, you have.
Oh, okay.
Yes, you have.
We'll pretend that I did. Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. Way to thrill us. Way to thrill us to get us started, Rob.
That's great.
Yeah, I've still got a little bit of a cold I'm hanging on to, and when I went to talk, nothing came out. So I said, that's great, and then there was nothing behind it. So, but sitting in with us today, just like he always does whenever we do a movie, back in the studio, someone who might be purely and simply just evil. It is the movie hound, Kurt.
I like to call it evil.
Evil.
That's right. That is me.
Like the
fruits of
Yes.
the devil.
of the devil.
That's right. That is true. That is true.
Let us dance like
I've-
children of the night.
Come
You
now,
guys have dragged me back in. I tried to run away, but I kept slipping. I kept tripping.
You never run.
I
You
feel like
just walk at just a normal pace.
people are
No,
gonna
you
start-
guys were walking at a normal pace. I tried to run,
Yeah.
but I kept falling, and you caught me.
Oh, that's right.
People are going to start to think that we're being held here against our will.
I am.
That's what you said.
I know.
That I had no
think-
choice.
If not, then why are my hands
He said
tied
right
down?
Yeah, no
right
doubt.
now.
Yeah.
Quit your complaining. The zip
I
ties.
can't show you my
Yeah.
hands.
Rob had a merit badge in knots. That's why he can't undo your. That's why he
That's
can't.
because
undo
he's a
your-
seaman.
That's right. He is.
I'm a master seaman.
Yeah, he's right there.
Yeah.
The boat says it all.
That's right.
So, all right. Well, as of the recording and debut of this episode, Halloween's like 2 or 3 short days away.
Yeah.
Where are you, Rob, on
boy.
kids trick or treating at your house?
We don't get a lot.
You
of
don't get a lot. You live in the woods.
them. Yeah, we live out in the
No
bush.
woods.
If children did come to your house, how do you feel about that?
I don't mind.
Do you hand out candy? Would you hand out
I don't know.
candy?
I'm kind of at the age. I'm kind of the get off my lawn mentality.
That's nice.
Like, don't bother me. It's
Kurt-
late. I don't want to buy candy for people, strangers.
You don't. And you'll probably just eat it while you're waiting.
I'll eat it. That's the problem.
Kurt and I also despise handing out
That is
candy
true.
to children.
We go and hide in my basement while the wives go to David's house and hand out candy to the children.
With their mother, because their mother really likes my
She
mother-in-law.
would. She would.
She likes handing the candy out.
Yeah.
So they hang out over there. They watch Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's like their tradition.
Yeah.
And then Kurt and
1
I,
year tradition.
Yep. Kurt and I go into the basement.
Together.
We turn all the lights off.
Yeah.
Together.
What do you watch?
That's none of your business.
Oh.
I think last year we watched True Beverly Hills.
Oh, so nothing scary.
Shelley Long.
Oh, okay.
It's good.
She's pretty scary.
It was
actually.
cookie time. What can we say?
Yeah.
Do you
You know.
Parent Trap?
We haven't got to that
You
yet.
haven't
No.
done that.
Maybe this year.
Would it
Parent Trap,
be
the remake.
Would that be
Oh,
the,
no.
the Haley Mills version or the
No, the remake.
Lindsay
Definitely
Lohan?
Haley Mills.
The Lohan version.
I don't know. Lohan might work. She's kind of scary. We're doing it.
Not anymore. She's
Actually, after True Beverly Hills, we did watch a thing on Netflix, like a summer camp 84, 94. Remember they're like going through time?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
It was-
Because
I remember what it
Connor
was.
watched it with us.
Yes.
Yes. Was not a Connor's corner, but he watched it anyway.
Okay.
But yeah, so.
It was not memorable because I do not remember.
Hey, do you remember when we were kids trick-or-treating?
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember this, but
Oh.
they used to open Clackamas Town Center up at
Yeah.
the mall, and you could go, they said it was a safe way to trick-or-treat.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You could go inside the mall and
was
store to store, and they give out candy.
It was like
and
trunk
then-
or treating before.
Yeah, and
Trick or
then
treating was
you didn't
cool.
have to be outside, right?
Mhm.
Did you ever go to the mall and trick or treat?
I don't know if I ever did that.
Did not.
No.
So,
No.
did you go to the mall and trick or treat?
I did not.
Did they have a mall?
Yeah.
Maniac they had. Did they offer trick or treating? You don't know.
I know they do now. I don't know if they did
Yeah.
then.
I just think it's already pretty dangerous at the mall for kids.
That is true.
Mhm.
All right, and you
scary.
add those costumes in, and then they're riding up and down on the
They
escalator.
get stuck
You're
in
going to
the
be yelling
escalator.
that the
Yeah.
kids are just back on the escalator,
I know. Then there's always that one kid.
back on the escalator.
That's right.
Getting he'd get his leg or whatever caught
That's
underneath
right.
because of the costume. Those plastic
Tommy-
Smurf things.
Tommy
Yeah.
Doyle getting stuck
Yeah.
in the
And I could just hear Kurt, that kid
It's
is
on the
back,
damn
Get off
escalator.
the escalator.
How many times have I told you
Yeah.
to get off the damn escalator?
just trying to enjoy trick or treating in the mall.
Yeah.
And this kid is getting savagely ripped apart on the escalator. So,
and you're
but
sitting on the bench at the mall going, I tried to
Maybe.
tell
I
him.
tried.
I
maybe
tried to
Rob.
tell him.
Maybe
I was
Rob.
usually just standing there
Yeah.
looking at one of those pictures that
Oh,
where
yeah.
if you stare at it long enough,
Yeah.
going, I know
But
there's
maybe.
a
I
sailboat
never
here
got it to
somewhere,
work.
but I
I
could
know.
never do it.
No.
I would say maybe that kid should suffer that fate. So
Yeah.
he learns to fear and respect
Yeah.
The escalator.
that escalator.
That's right.
Dave Matthews had an album with one of those.
With escalators?
With the
With one of those
funky pictures.
you had to stare at.
We've
and
also
cross-eyed.
figured out.
We've also told the story that this is the 20-year anniversary of when he dumped all the poop on
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's right. Off the
in the
bridge.
Chicago River when
It
they
was one of
dumped
his
out.
buses or something.
They're one of his buses, and it covered 100-something people
Yeah.
below.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
a plaque there now.
So
There's a plaque there.
there
There
is.
is.
They literally
No
erected
joke.
a plaque, and
There is. It's true.
people wonder why I say that Dave Matthews sucks because he throws his shit on everyone.
That's right. He really
It
is.
wasn't only his.
I
Sure, there's other band members too.
Well, there are some disparaging stories. First, it was Dave Matthews. Then it was the second bus. Hold on.
this was not on my bingo
Hold on.
card today.
First, it was Dave Matthews.
Oh, yeah,
Then
we
it was
should
a
have a
second
bingo
bus
card.
with that
Sure,
violinist, the African American gentleman.
Yeah.
He's the violinist.
Yeah,
Then
he's
it was
no longer with the band, by the way.
Yeah,
He got in trouble.
we don't need to go down that
Okay.
storyline. But he also, then they said Dave tried to blame it on his bus, and that's where the poo came from. Then he went all the way around and said, no, it wasn't even Dave Matthews. Lincoln Park was opening for us, and it was their bus.
Okay.
that dumped the
I
poo.
have to think that Dave Matthews, I mean, is that their diet.
Yes.
I'm going to guess that Dave Matthews Band was their poo was
No, they seem like,
fairly healthy.
yeah, they're
Fairly
crunchy guys,
healthy.
right?
Yeah. you
There's
know.
some granola in
But
there.
I'm going to
Granola.
guess the Lincoln Park was their bus.
Oh, yeah.
Was woof.
Well, they're in Chicago, so I'm
Right.
guessing deep dish pizza,
Yeah.
Chicago hot dogs,
Yeah, a lot of drugs.
the Chicago
lot of
beef
liquor.
thing.
Yeah, a lot of liquor.
All right.
You know, it's the
Tends to give you tummy troubles.
yeah. The
Well, whoever did
the
it.
morning after poo.
Whoever did it, we're in the
Woof.
20-year anniversary of that poo being dumped
All
and
right.
covered 100. Several ladies vomited because of the smell.
Do you know who's going to really like this conversation?
your wife?
Nobody.
Our wives.
Okay.
Yes.
I just want to point out, last time we were here, we did a 5-minute talk at the
urine.
beginning about urine
Urinal
crossing
trough,
streams.
Hey, we
and
got-
now,
We got some good feedback on the
Poo.
urinal trough stuff, so don't worry about that.
okay,
But,
I'll believe you.
Yeah.
I just learned today that there is such thing as a round urinal.
Yeah, we talked about that. But let's save that for another day.
Save that
All right.
for another time.
That is interesting.
Okay, let's.
Google that thing.
We Googled it. Well, not using Google. Why don't you tell everyone what topic we're going to cover on this week's episode?
We were talking about 1978's Halloween, the John Carpenter classic.
Ooh, I like the John Carpenter part. Yeah. So we are, as Rob would say, and probably applauds, deviating slightly from our 80s and 90s.
I'm shocked.
It's definitely a
show.
Robster episode.
This is
shocked.
a Robster episode.
I'm shocked.
I feel like this is.
I'm proud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As I said, if anyone listened to those of you that listened to the last one, if anyone did, if anyone listened to the last one,
we had a few.
We had a few. I said at the end, this feels very 1980s adjacent. It's just 2 years out of the 80s.
I think it's fair.
Okay. And I would say when we discuss a little more that it had quite an effect maybe on all of the horror movies we watched in the 80s and 90s.
I would agree.
So I think we're okay. So, but before we begin reminiscing about this awesome film, I'm going to cover, I looked up what our friends of the show, Roger Ebert, Gene Siskel, rest in peace, what they thought about Halloween. So before I read the reviews, where do you think those two would stand on this movie? Knowing your knowledge of their historical approaches to reviewing films.
Which one's the shorter, chubbier one?
Shorter, chubby one is Ebert.
I think Ebert would have liked it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
I think he would have looked at it for what it was at the time.
Okay.
I'm going to
The
say
other guy's
Gene.
gonna hate it.
I'm going to say Gene liked it because
You
there
think the other
wasn't a lot of bad. He seems to hate bad.
Like gore and stuff.
Yeah, and so I'm thinking he liked it just because I didn't throw that in there.
All right. So you're both on board with they liked it.
I'm going to guess at least.
I said they
50,
both liked it.
Yeah,
He
one
thinks
of them. One of them's
Ebert
gonna like
does.
All right. Well, here we go. Siskel
They
and
both
Ebert.
hated it.
Ebert, favorable review.
it. No.
He wrote pretty good. Acted with great artistry and craftsmanship, and they developed the women's characters very well.
Disagree.
Totally.
I disagree.
Okay. He praised John Carpenter's ability to create tension and suspense through atmosphere and pacing
Agreed.
rather than relying on excessive violence or gore.
That's what you said.
There's still some violence.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He called it an absolutely merciless thriller, gave it 4 stars, and wrote over and over how scary the movie was for him.
Yeah.
So that was Roger. Siskel.
Gene.
Similar feeling about the movie. Suspense and scares were developed without excessive blood and gore. Jamie Lee Curtis was good, and it's an exceptional horror film that rose above the genre's typical limitations. So
They both liked it.
yeah. So
I win.
So how do you
I
feel?
win.
How do you feel about their review, Rob?
I got my people wrong, but I think it fit, right?
It fit, yeah.
One of them liked it.
Well,
and
you
for the
disagreed.
reasons that you just said. So.
You disagreed that they did not develop the women's characters very well.
I didn't think the acting was great.
Well,
But that's
was
what he said. He
fantastic.
said something about that it was acted well, or what was it?
no.
It was-
He said they developed the women's characters very well.
Oh, wow.
I think what they alluded to when I watched.
You knew who each one
watched
of
the
them
thing.
was.
Well, and they didn't act as typically silly and dumb as they had in previous ones.
Yeah.
Like they problem solved a little bit at times.
Yeah.
Well, at least Jamie Lee Curtis did.
I was going to say one of them did.
I don't know if the other one's problem solved a lot.
I'm
but-
going to even argue that Jamie Lee Curtis's problem solved.
No, she
Oh,
was
okay.
great. We won't talk about any of her problems.
Yeah, no continuity issues in this movie.
Well, no. We might have an area for that. So
Okay.
So you've already opened Pandora's box. So
Oh, I
if you're
have.
saying that Jamie Lee Curtis, who plays Laurie Strode, that you have some sort of disagreement with her,
Yeah.
or what would be your stance on what's your argument here? That she, because I said maybe she's making good choices or she's problem solving.
Yeah.
You're saying that you don't think that's the case.
I don't think that's the case.
Why not?
She can't open a freaking door.
Okay. Well, he had a rake attached to the door.
No, the front door. She couldn't get the front door.
No, I
open.
disagree.
I think there was a rake on that one too.
there was no.
No, okay.
No, she can't run across the lawn. She created all of the horror movie tropes.
Can you please about the lawn?
She had just
heard her
fallen
leg.
over down
2
the stairs.
stories.
Yes.
You're not defending her.
I
Oh, I
would-
am.
I would say I was shocked she even got up from that fall in the first place and then started running around.
Okay, why did she's screaming?
Yes, that she's a scream queen.
Just run and hide.
No. This is a scary situation, Rob. There's a man with a knife or some sort of sharp object chasing you, and he's wearing a mask.
Why didn't she go out? She opens the balcony doors.
Yes.
Go out the balcony doors.
But she,
I know she's trying to
was
create
trying
a
to-
distraction.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
understand that.
All right.
Jump off. Then you go in the little tiny closet.
No, she had left the children. She wasn't going to leave them
Yeah.
totally.
Oh, whatever.
She wanted to make sure Tommy survived.
Good God.
We don't want anybody going after Tommy. So
He wasn't going to kill the kids.
yeah, he didn't seem to be into children.
He wasn't going to kill.
So-
He was.
but she doesn't know that, right? She just
doesn't
knows
know
that this dude's walking around. So that's all.
I'm going to go back. She has problems with doors. She
Okay.
can't even open a door.
Okay. So you feel like they should have done a better job writing in some door usage? But doesn't that build the tension and drama if she doesn't get the door open right away?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah, it does.
So it kind of feels like you're defeating your own argument.
I-
Because if she immediately opened the door and you're in the theater watching that, then what happens? You go, oh, I guess she got away. That would be a lot of fun.
It'd be great.
Movie over.
Movie over.
That was dumb.
Like he walks out on the lawn, she's already gone.
That's right.
I guess I'm done.
I guess I'm done.
Guess I'll go home.
Back in my station wagon and go.
Back in my station wagon and
I
go.
know.
So,
It's a nice car.
yeah, it was a nice car. It wasn't that bad, I don't think.
Yeah.
So
No, I don't know. I just
you just weren't impressed with
I
her
just-
overall. You think so? Again, back to the problem solving. You don't think you think she could have done some better things?
I do. But he was Michael Myers. You
Could
can't
she-
kill the boogeyman.
Could
So,
she
I
have
mean,
called somebody?
well, back the
Phone didn't work,
You get the
folks. Yeah.
turn. It takes forever. You know,
Yeah,
I was going to say,
But
damn
didn't he cut the
rotary
lines?
phones.
damn rotary phones.
I thought he cut the lines.
He did.
too.
Once,
He did.
when she finally got back to the
Yeah.
house.
So
He did that quick.
all I'll say is the only problem solving I understand is you run from one house to another house.
Yeah.
Just get on the main street
And
keep
run.
going till you
That's
hit
what I'm
other
saying.
people, right?
Right. Well, she tried that one neighbor, and they shut the blinds on her.
That was awesome.
and we'll talk about that.
Yes, we will.
You know, we can talk about it now. I didn't understand the people in the town.
Yeah.
First of all, it seems to be it's Halloween.
Yeah.
We see one group of kids early in the evening at I don't know.
Yeah,
5
nobody's
o'clock.
trick or treating in this town.
No one's trick or treating.
All the parents are going to some party.
That's the other thing is
No
where,
parents.
Where are they going? And apparently this might be an annual event because you go back to 1963 where parents were gone that night.
Yeah.
When they come home and Michael's standing in the front yard. So
Yeah.
is there like some, parents'
I
key
don't
swinger
know.
party on Halloween?
Oh, yeah.
There might be.
And then
It was
what-
70, 77, 78.
Tommy didn't go trick or treating. Why didn't Tommy get to go trick or treating?
I don't know.
Like him or the girl
We're guessing
go
that
out?
he went before she got there.
I guess.
Yeah, because he was dressed up.
But no
was.
one's trick or treating, and she's babysitting in what I would, if you look, they're pretty nice houses.
Mhm.
That would have been a popular neighborhood for kids to trick or treat in, thinking I'm going to get a lot of candy. But maybe they're not there because all the parents are gone, so no one's handing out, and no one's handing out candy.
Mm-mm.
That's the other problem in that whole neighborhood. There's no lights on.
No.
And then the parents or the neighbors just closing the blinds.
Yeah.
What I mean. Is that typical?
I don't
Or do you think they're
Someone's
like
screaming on my porch. I'm not opening the door.
okay? Well, okay.
Sorry, lady.
So let me look at
I
this.
see you bleeding, but no.
So let's
Sorry,
look at it this
Mr.
way.
Lady.
In 2024,
You are.
yes, you're not going to open that door.
Yes.
Yeah.
But in 1978, I feel like people would have been like, Lord, and I think Haddonfield's supposed to be a town everybody kind of knows.
Well, they would have known her, right?
People, yeah. Or they
she
just
was a
like,
neighbor kid.
oh, Lori's just been drinking again, or
She's
know,
drinking
she's-
again.
She's having one of her
fine.
episodes again.
she's fine. You know
She's
what I mean?
off her meds.
Because they literally just closed the blinds. So,
That's why I think maybe there's more to that. Like the town wasn't as idyllic.
well, the
as,
town seems a little weird because of back again
Like there's
the annual parents party.
there's hardly any parents in the.
There are no parents
no
anywhere.
adults in the movie. Yeah.
And especially on Halloween night, like we were talking about trick or treat when I kicked off the show because I was asking you. But for the most part, if you either take your kid out and once you come back,
Mhm.
you are at home. You're gonna like trick or treat, and
No.
like no one's at home.
No.
It's just weird in the town.
There's
that
hardly
no
any
one's there.
cars moving around.
That's
There's not-
the other thing.
Yeah. There's,
Like except for the cop car, Dr. Loomis, whatever he's driving,
Mm-hmm.
his Beamer, and the station wagon, you rarely see any other cars moving
Yeah.
around on the streets.
Yeah.
It's a weird vibe.
Yeah.
To start with.
yeah. And I
So.
think
It's supposed to be weird.
yes, and
It's haunted.
I think that goes back to
So you think the town's haunted?
John Carpenter's kind of craft and
Okay,
his brilliance.
so
is
here's
that
maybe
he,
then
he creates an environment that is off.
Maybe
Yeah,
here's
it
what's
feels very
happening.
off.
I mean, it has palm trees in middle America.
It's maybe here's what's happening with the Halloween night parents thing. Maybe they feel like the town's like cursed or something,
Uh-huh.
and so they go to some like bonfire seance things on
There's-
Halloween
They're
nights.
doing rituals,
They do. They're up there
ritual
doing-
sacrifices.
Well, now I
Well, I don't know if they're
yeah,
sacrificing.
and I
Probably just drinking,
just
yeah,
drinking.
doing a key party. Hey, get your keys in the bucket. Who's
Bucket.
going home with Mrs. Myers?
Oh, hey,
Sheriff, what's his name?
Brackett,
Brackett?
yeah.
Who gets Sheriff Brackett?
he was a little weird.
No, he's not. He's not invited. To
Bring
the
your
party.
pipe.
Yeah, your little pipe.
Bring your little pipe.
So yeah, the whole town has a weird vibe. So not helping anyone.
No.
No one's out except for Lori
No.
and a couple other friends. And Bob's van was another car we saw driving.
Oh, yeah.
around.
Great
That's
man.
a great van.
The
Great
shaggin'
van.
wagon.
Shaggin' wagon.
Yeah. He
I love
also
it.
has an issue with shutting doors.
He does. I would say in
they
general,
don't shut their doors.
I would say it was tough on the whole cast.
Yeah. The shutting of doors, even at the beginning,
shutting,
when
the
you get the
opening.
POV, when you get the point of view with little Michael,
Yeah.
and he walks right through the back door.
Yeah.
Back door's wide
Well,
open.
I heard
Super stupid.
My research told me because the budget was so low, which I'm
Yeah.
sure the movie hound will let us know about
Mhm.
later. They couldn't afford good carpenters to make the sets,
Mhm.
and so some of the door frames and stuff were a little wonky, and so maybe that's why they had trouble. Yeah, I made that whole thing up.
Yeah,
That doesn't
I-
actually.
You
I don't-
did.
No.
So yeah. So,
But the house was dilapidated.
It was
and
dilapidated, yeah.
They actually filmed the ending or the
First,
beginning
yeah.
at the end
yeah, that's good.
because they had to fix the house up
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
do
that's
the
pretty
beginning.
good. So, all right. Well, house problems, door problems, all kinds of problems.
Just
Before we dig
problems.
into all those problems
Yeah.
further,
Further.
let's hit play, take a ride down memory lane with the original theatrical trailer.
Halloween night. A small American town. 15 years ago. Michael? Halloween.
I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and then another 7 trying to keep him locked up because I realized that what was living behind that boy's eyes was purely and simply evil. I think he'll come back.
Exploring uncharted territory.
Totally charted.
Just talk.
Sure. The only reason she babysits is to have
Halloween.
Okay, Linda. Come on out.
Halloween. The night he came home.
All right, so two things, Rob. We got to start with one.
I have,
Wow. One, did you totally love that trailer?
I totally love that.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
totally.
two, since you like to evaluate
Yeah.
it, how do you feel about that voiceover guy's voice?
Well, I thought that was probably one of the worst trailers we played
Really?
I agree.
for an audio medium.
Audio, yeah.
That
But don't you think the music does
so-
build some sort of like
I don't know.
terror or suspense?
No, I thought it included all of the most. It had some of all the action
Well,
words
if-
in.
if you're watching it, but from
Yeah.
from an audio
Yeah, I
standpoint,
don't know.
it-
Yeah.
just her screaming and
Yeah,
squirming a lot.
Lots of yeah.
Yeah.
It's an interesting. You could interpret that trailer for a different movie if you wanted.
You could.
to. Yeah.
Yeah.
So hey, Kurt,
It's like
real
when
quick,
Linda made her little obscene call.
better use of two piano keys. John Carpenter, Peter Venkman.
Ooh.
They hate this. They hate it when we do
I
that.
like
when we do
Venkman, but probably more well known
Yeah, probably.
is Carpenter.
Mhm.
Yeah. I would say most people don't go to the Venkman play as like a scary backdrop at a party or something in Halloween, whereas they might use the Halloween stuff. So
That is true.
long trailer, it seemed like.
It was
Longer than
I think
thought.
it was just drawn out because some parts nothing was happening.
Yes.
I found the movie the same way.
No, you're crazy.
So much walking.
I agree.
So much walking down the
Trying
street.
to get his 10,000 steps in.
I'm actually.
No, it's Lori's 10,000 steps. Like, why am I watching her walk for 5 blocks?
Well, she doesn't
Just
have her.
get her there, man.
Hey,
I'm
just like
super in.
Ferris Bueller, she doesn't have a car. Okay. So it looks like that house, they only have one car. You only ever see dad, so maybe mom's not in the picture. No, just as a Jew is. But anyway, she's got to get to school. She's got to get where she's going. She had to go by the Myers house, drop off the keys.
Yep.
I mean, there were things. There's things to do, and then the girls walk home.
To do.
It actually, I would argue, it actually is pretty close to like how real life would happen because you walk home from school. Oh, this is my house. I'll see you later. Then you get to your house. Then she gets to her house.
Yeah.
It seems more realistic.
I guess.
You don't want realism, though, huh? You don't want to watch her walk.
Speed it up. My ADD cannot handle this.
So what do you?
I know.
So what do you? So what's your suggestion? Let's cut about 15 minutes out of the movie and shave down some of the walking.
I actually did put that in my notes.
There is a lot of walking and like lots of long scenes.
Yeah.
Like that with the very opening, not very opening, but early on in the movie where it's point of view from him looking at her walking.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long ways. She walks a long ways.
Well, I will say
They could have
this.
shortened that.
For all the walking that's going on, not too many obese people in this town.
That's right.
So obviously they are getting their steps in.
I guess.
You think like his Apple Watch, like Michael Myers, that his pace, that heartbeat meter would never go up too high? And he's looking at
pretty
it.
calm.
Got to get my 10,000 steps.
He's pretty calm.
There I go.
He's pacing himself throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, he's not going to wear himself out.
I don't know why he's breathing so hard because he's not moving fast.
Well, I think it's just because that has the small slots. You remember those masks? It's got the small hole. It's hard to breathe in those things. You remember when you
Sweaty.
used to wear those masks and it would get wet on the inside?
So gross.
So much condensation.
You'd have to pick it up. You put it down.
Can't breathe in this.
Can't breathe in this thing. So, but it looks scary. We're willing to sacrifice.
That's right.
And I'm going to go ahead and say some of that plastic we were having sweated to our face. Probably not the best thing we could have.
There was probably some
had on our
cancer-causing
skin.
chemicals.
Oh, yeah.
That's not good. Hey, what's your Rainbow Bright mask made out of? Asbestos.
It's flame retardant, though.
Oh, don't worry. It's got this 1/2-inch rubber band on the back. Nothing bad will happen.
Just digging into your
You ever,
eyeball.
you ever have to tie it up a couple times?
Oh, yeah, because
And
it
so
broke.
by the end of the night, it got too tight because the rope, because that rubber band got too small. And you kept tying little knots in it, and then at one point it just won't even go on your face. So
It's just on the forehead.
What I loved about, maybe, and it might happen still now, but I didn't notice it with my kids as much. What I loved about Halloween when we were kids is you start the night in such a good, energetic mood. You've got the mask on. You've got this whole. By the end of the night, the mask is just on top of your head. Yeah. You're up at the thing. She opens the door. Oh, what do you say? Just give me the candy. All right.
Just give me the
Enough
candy.
of the trick or treats.
Have you
Let's
ever
just
seen?
move on?
Have you ever seen Seinfeld stand up about that?
I
He's
think
got the
I
whole
have.
thing where he goes,
Yeah.
"Bing bong, give me
Bing
the
bong.
candy."
Yeah, let's go.
Come on.
Like, I don't have time for this.
He pulls out a little graph.
Yeah.
Here's you. Here's me.
Oh, he
here's
does?
the candy.
He also makes that joke. He's like, "Mom, I'm dressed as Superman. I can't wear a coat."
He puts the coat. Remember, you had to wear the coat, especially growing up in Portland.
Well, and it'd
be rainy.
You have to wear them between houses.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
then
you
have
could take it off just to go to the door and back, but then put it back on.
Then you're like, no, I'm just going to run. I don't want to put it back on.
So,
Mom and Dad would stand out the street smoking a cigarette.
oh yeah,
Yep.
Holding
but
your
I
coat.
definitely would just have the mask at some point just on top of the head.
Yeah.
And not even pulled down. And they'd open
What
the
are you
door.
supposed to be?
What
It
are you
doesn't
supposed
matter.
to be?
Give me the
Just
candy. Come on, it's late. We got houses to hit.
I got 2 more blocks to go.
2 more blocks. So, but you know who would have been good at trick or treating, even though they apparently don't do it at all? Residents of Haddonfield, because they can walk all day, right?
Because they're under the umbrella of what happened in '63.
Mm-hmm.
You think so?
Nobody wants to get out.
Yeah, I think it still haunts them.
Well, it's 15 years later.
Yeah.
So if it was
It's
Michael's parents,
still new.
And by the way, they mentioned they had the sound bite in there where he goes, "Michael." I have a lot of questions about the parents' reaction.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
To
the mom just
to
puts her
young
hands-
Michael Myers.
Yeah.
Michael.
Yeah.
I was waiting for you could have that sound, and I was like, wah, wah.
Well, mom puts her hands in her pockets.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
murder your sister again? Laugh track.
Yeah. And I'm going to go out and say that the people of Haddonfield
Yes.
were not shocked
Yeah.
when Michael did this.
It didn't seem like it.
I think people are going to go, yeah, we saw this coming.
Yeah.
There were signs
At school.
at school.
Okay.
Well,
To be fair, in 1978, I don't even think they're looking for signs
no,
at school.
and they probably just
It's like he's fine.
brushed it off like, oh, nothing's wrong with my child.
Yeah.
No, that
Boys-
there were signs.
Boys being boys.
Yeah, there were
Boys
signs.
being boys.
He's dismembering squirrels at school. Boys being boys.
He killed,
Don't
he
worry
killed
about
and
It
ate the
was the
neighbor's dog.
60s.
Oh,
So
it's
that's all right.
fine. It's the
fine.
70s. He's just trying to figure himself out. That's all. Don't worry about it.
No, there were signs.
Yeah, I'm going to guess. Not a lot of signs. He's 6.
Yeah, but
Which I have some questions
they
about
didn't
that,
rush
too.
inside.
No.
They just
They
stand
just
there.
stood out.
That was the other.
out in
Yeah.
grass.
So those are my questions
Like
for the parents.
Why
bloody
do you have a
knife,
bloody knife?
not
Where-
running
where's
inside.
your sister?
You're
There's
holding
nothing.
a bloody knife. You're just standing here.
Yeah.
Should I go in the house and check? But
Maybe.
again, the mom. It's like a sitcom. Her hands are on her
she
hips.
puts them in her little.
and
She puts
she's
her
just
hands up
like,
on her
Michael.
Yeah, and her
Like
little
I don't know what's
coat.
going on.
What do you call
right?
that coat?
Yeah.
The long coat.
Yeah.
My mom used to
Trench
have
coat?
one. Trench coat. You know, my mom.
You
had
have one.
I'm waiting for in that moment. I'm waiting for like
Want to buy a
Uncle,
watch?
yeah. In that moment, I'm waiting for like Uncle Joey to walk out. He's like, cut it out.
Seriously.
And then the whole crowd laughs. "Ah, you killed your sister again.
How many times have we told
Streets
you?
on the Toronto.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
all right. Well, we can dig into that a little further. So let's lock our doors. Don't trust anyone who wears a mask 24/7 and never assume the creepy guy lurking outside is just a trick-or-treater. Let's get scared with Halloween. Well, before we throw it over to the Hound, because I know you've got some great info for us. We didn't really cover before we jumped to this part of our episode, but we can do whatever we want. We're out of order. It's fine.
Yeah.
There is no order. But
No order.
before we go further, let's have the discussion of
okay.
Is this the movie, which I think most people would argue is, the inspiration for basically every other type of horror film we've seen afterwards? Because if you think about it, before Halloween, you had movies like The Exorcist, which was kind of a supernatural thing. You had like The Omen, and then Psycho and more thriller type. But this is your first, this might be the first style of this type with like this slasher person. And I kind of did some internet look around, research, if you will. And it kind of looks like this is
People have come to know us for
our research.
For research.
It kind
For
of
our
looks
Googling.
like it kind of looks like this is also the first time where Halloween was used as the like it's a bad thing. Like as where before it's you might have thought of it as a scary night or something, but no one locked their doors, no one worried about anything. And when people were in masks, they're just trick or treating.
Yeah.
Well, this is the first version of he's just walking around in a mask and no one cares because it's Halloween.
Yeah.
So it's it might be like the first time that Halloween's being used as a weapon as well, which it come later. Now it
became
becomes
weaponized
for us as children and children's children and all the thing. We watch scary movies. We watch. I wonder, did they even do that before? Because there weren't a lot of scary movies.
Oh,
I was going to say, when I was watching a little behind the scenes on this last night, they were talking about how Halloween, I don't think the word had not been used in a movie title in any way
There you
until
go.
they did this. And it wasn't really a thing to do movies for holidays, except for maybe Christmas. And so after this, they had lots of other holidays that followed along, like My Bloody Valentine. And I think there was an April Fool's Day one or something too. So
Black Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Have you seen that one?
No.
Santa be chopping folks up. He just be chopping.
you can't
stop. You can't stop Santa from chopping.
Wow.
wow.
I'll believe you.
Black Christmas. Yes, there you go. But yeah, so I think this. I don't think you have what Jason is or what Freddy is. These kind of unstoppable beings or Scream later. I don't think you have any of those without Michael Myers. I think he's the Godfather. Remember we talk about our Godfather tiers.
Right.
I think he's at the top.
Well, and I think for me, this is one of the first movies that I associated imagery and music.
Oh yeah.
Like you cannot take the audio from this movie or the music from this movie it's not the same movie.
No.
It is absolutely not.
It's not.
And I think for me, this was the first movie where I'd hear a song and I have the same feeling that the movie gave me. You know,
Well, and they tried.
It's scary music.
Yeah, and like we say, this is the basis because they tried it with other movies. And whether you think it's successful or not, but like Jason has the
Yeah.
right, and then Freddy's got the 1, 2, Freddy's coming. So they tried to have a catch thing for those, but not nearly as effective or as popular as this. Because everyone, for the most part, knows what this song is,
Right.
Like especially from our generation.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
and we mentioned this is from 1978. That's when it debuted. And we said it was 80s adjacent. Well, from 1980 to 1982, they actually re-released this every year at Halloween in the theaters. So and it would for the like that week, it was like at the top of the cinema charts,
Right.
or the what do they call it? The ticket
box
charts.
office.
Yeah,
I like the box office.
Box office.
That's why we bring you in here because you bring a lot to the table.
I've got some words.
got
I got
words. I wish I had words.
You have lots of words.
I mean, sometimes, but I didn't have box office.
You're very rarely without words.
That's true.
I have a good vernacular.
But sometimes he just keeps going until he finds words.
I have a good vernacular.
I do have a good vernacular. I've been told that. I've been stopped on the street. You know, you look like a guy with a good vernacular.
I don't think
And I'm
you
like, you're not wrong. Anyway, well, before we dive into this week's movie anymore, it's hard. There's a lot to talk about. So, but I do think to tie that up, I think without Halloween, you may not have the inspiration. I'm not saying no one would have thought things later, but I think this laid the groundwork. And being successful at the box office.
They let theaters or the movie studios open up their wallets to make more.
Well, and horror movies have always traditionally been an easy target because they're pretty cheap to make, but they always reap benefits. So if you spend $5 million, you're almost, even if it's a bad one, you're guaranteed 40 to 50 million just because people will go see it on Halloween because they think it's going to be scary.
Well, and I don't know how to say this, but I think something that Halloween did for me too was that it brought not credibility. I don't know if credibility is a word, but he used a lot of cinematic stuff and angles and lighting, and that it wasn't cheesy. It was done well, and I think that's something that brought people to the movie. It was very suspenseful, and some of the waiting, we talked about the walking and stuff, and it's too long, but that was all done very purposeful, and it wasn't just a slasher film for the sake of a slasher film. There wasn't a lot of blood in the movie.
No, there's not.
And actually, I was telling my wife because she was like, "I don't want to watch it; it's too scary." And I'm like, "We've watched an episode. There was an episode of Criminal Minds.
Those are good.
My daughter was into Criminal Minds for a while, and she was on this kick. So there's an episode where the killer turns all of his victims into marionettes.
I like it.
It was absolutely brutal. It was one of the worst episodes I've ever seen of something on TV. It was way worse than Halloween.
Nice.
Absolutely way worse. And it was on regular TV, unedited, but I think for the time, for 78, I liked the camera angles, and it was done very well.
And like you were saying, there wasn't anything like this before. So when you go to the theaters,
and
there was no attacking the teenage girls and for no apparent reason. Right. At least in The Exorcist, she's possessed.
Right.
Omen, he's the devil.
Right.
Even Psycho, he's got mommy issues, right? So, but this one, it just seems there's no reason.
Well, and Michael was very methodical.
He was.
He had put thought, the rake on the door. There was
very
thought.
Smart.
There was thought put in.
We're going to talk about those thoughts that are put in a little while because I have some questions about his thoughts. I will say, we were talking about all the walking.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to recut this like a trailer, and instead of the Michael Myers song, put in that "I Will Walk 500 Miles" song. Just every time he's going across the lawn,
or a squeaky shoe.
Oh, squeaky shoe
again with the squeaky shoe.
You're just stealing that from Kung Pao. Come on now. So, all right. Well, we've made him wait long enough. I know you spent a lot of time off camera today reading to get your reading correct.
Yeah, it's still
I know you love
still
to
gonna
do that.
F it.
You're gonna nail it.
But so before we dive further into this week's movie, we're gonna make sure all the listeners are fully equipped with the crucial intel. For that, I'm tossing it over to the movie hound himself, the guy who can sniff out a classic flick faster than Michael Myers can stab you.
All right, so Halloween is an American independent slasher film directed and scored by John Carpenter, Carpenter also co-wrote it with its producer Deborah Hill. There we go. It stars Donald Pleasance, Jamie Lee Curtis in her film debut, PJ Soles, and Nancy Loomis. The movie was released on October 25th, 1978, and had a budget of just $320,000 and made over $70 million in its original release. Halloween has a Rotten Tomatoes audience popcorn score of 88% and a critics tomato score of 96%, making it the highest scoring movie we have done on this podcast so far.
Higher than Over the Top?
Yes, very much so.
That's disappointing.
Really?
Shocking, I know.
It's the highest movie we've done so far. Huh?
The highest critic score, yes.
Wow.
That's really good. 96, Rob.
That's good.
Tough.
That's because Gene and Raj both liked it.
Love.
So that gave it the extra percent.
They loved it.
All right, so now Rob, as David quietly reads his newest copies of Laser Man, Neutron Man, and Tarantula Man, can you please tell the listeners what this movie is about by doing a segment we call Back of the Box?
Back of the box, back of the box. Box, back of the box.
You know, every time I hear that song, I just imagine Rob with like a glow stick in his mouth.
Yeah. Little pacifier. Anyway.
Club vibe.
Yeah. So here, I will tell you, I had a hard time finding a Back of the Box.
I would imagine, because I don't know they had VHS back when
first,
this was a movie.
I had to Google it. The first VHS came out August 23rd of 77 in the United States. So this was a new format.
But I could just pause you if you had trouble. We have a Blu-ray copy, and
Well,
it
let's-
has a Back of the Box on it.
Well, let's see. Hand it to me.
Hand it to him. Let's do it.
Let's see what we got.
Live on air.
All right. Let's see here. Well, I'm going to read both. I'm going to read both.
It's very small.
I'm going to read both.
Why not?
So
Okay.
this is from a Back of the Box 1981.
Good.
It says color, 90 minutes, short runtime.
I like it.
This says the most successful independent motion picture of all time, a horror classic that will scare you out of your wits. Michael Myers escaped from the Illinois State Mental Hospital after 15 years of treatment for the brutal murders of his sister and has returned to Haddonfield to relive his crime. What follows is a reign of terror. He came home for Halloween and may return.
Nice.
I don't know. That doesn't.
Okay.
Anyway, now, updated version.
Blu-ray.
This is a Blu-ray.
Yes.
High definition.
Very high.
There we go. The most successful independent motion picture of all time. On a black and unholy Halloween night years ago, little Michael Myers brutally slaughtered his sister in cold blood. But for the last 15 years, town residents have rested easy, knowing that he was safely locked away in a mental hospital until tonight. Tonight, Michael returns to the same quiet neighborhood to relive his grisly murder again and again and again. For this is a night of evil. Tonight is Halloween.
I actually like the Blu-ray one.
I do too.
Better.
I do too.
Better
They-
writers.
You
They
think
had some
from
time.
81 to 2000, whatever?
They had more money than to pay a better writer.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, color 91 minutes.
Ooh,
No,
they
they-
added a minute.
Some unreleased footage.
1 minute, of footage that we
It was another shot of him walking across a yard.
That's right.
We added another yard walk.
They added an extra block to
we
her
did
walk.
not have enough
I do like
Yard
that
walking.
they show a picture
of.
of the love making scene,
That's a
Ooh.
good scene.
and there's a pumpkin.
Do you like what you see?
Did you ever put a jack-o'-lantern next to the bed?
Oh, I have
Um,
one right now.
So, do you?
Do you?
No.
So, I would just say, as a teenager, I was
Just had one hole in the
unsuccessful in my
pumpkin.
efforts to be having
you-
sex during Halloween. So,
But he did have a pumpkin. It had one hole.
my terrible.
Dang it!
Where was that time
we were
out?
going. We were
So
doing
well.
just fine. And then
No,
he-
I
this
He heard
guy-
it. Heard it worked well for apple
Yeah.
pie. He tried it with pumpkin.
That's so bad. Well, my trick or treat only consisted of candy. I could not talk any young ladies into coitus
Coitus.
during such a great holiday.
Dang
Bring me a beer. Where's my beer?
Yeah.
it. See anything you like?
No. All right.
Okay.
Well, if you're new to the show, three of us are going to talk a little bit about some of the parts of the movie, some more parts of the movie, before we jump into some categories where we'll share our favorite and maybe not so favorite moments from this great movie we call Halloween. We'll start off with the casting choices. We alluded to Jamie Lee Curtis. She is debuting in this film. She got the role basically because she's Janet Leigh's daughter.
Yep.
Yeah.
So she kind of got it on some
And Janet Leigh is who?
nepotism. So she was the woman in Psycho, the
That's right.
actress.
Marion Crane
Nice.
was the name.
Me.
Shower, classic shower scene.
Yeah, no, it almost felt like you could have had that sound effect.
I could have.
Yeah, that's okay.
Damn it, Kip.
But they cast
Such
her
an ass.
They cast her because of it's really low budget, so they thought it would give the movie a boost.
Yeah.
So, but it's her debut, so I
Who
guess
did they
they're
really
hoping,
want for it, though?
Who did they? Well, why don't you tell us, Rob?
Anne Lockhart.
Oh, nice.
She was daughter of June Lockhart, the Lassie gal.
Lassie Gal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that-
But she turned them down.
Wait a
She
minute.
turned him down.
Her official title is Lassie Gal.
Well, June Lockhart, she was the mom in Lassie.
Why do you talk like a 73-year-old man?
Hey, gal.
Hey, did you see that Lassie gal? She's got a sharp-looking dog.
I should keep this glass full.
All right. June Lockhart.
All right.
So they wanted her.
Yeah, didn't get her.
So,
She turned it down.
Oh, and her.
But she went on to be on Magnum PI,
Very
Airwolf,
good.
The West Wing, NCIS, Law and Order, and Chicago Fire.
Wow, she got to be in the presence of the
Yeah,
mustache.
There you go. Yep.
The
Tom
stash.
Selleck.
Do you think she went for a ride?
Probably.
Oh,
nice.
Hawaiian shirt.
maybe. I didn't see a picture of her, so I don't know if.
I mean, she's in Hollywood. I'm
But
sure
it's
she's
Tom
all
Selleck.
right. So, well, Jamie Lee Curtis's character's name is Laurie Strode.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Laurie Strode. John Carpenter was pretty easy with how he wrote this script. Name of one of his ex-girlfriends.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh, yes.
He didn't think too hard on these things.
And Michael Myers was?
I
Like
know
a
this.
producer
Why don't you
or
tell
something.
us?
He was a guy that helped distribute his last
that's
movie
right.
in Europe.
Europe. That's what it was.
So it's like an ode to Michael Myers.
That is correct.
Yep.
Although I like how I was watching, like I said, behind the scenes on this, and they never called him Michael Myers. They always just called him The Shape.
The Shape.
The Shape is what he was
That was
Yeah.
his
in the
thing.
script.
In the script. So Michael Myers just came out of Carpenter.
I guess.
Mm-hmm.
He just told people to start saying it because they call him a name. Because otherwise, you got at the beginning of the movie, Michael.
Michael.
Dang it, Michael. Did you stab someone again? I got 3 people portrayed Myers in the first film.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Will Sandlin as the 6-year-old. And then Tony Moran and Nick Castle, they split playing the adult Myers. And actually, another producer also played him. So there's a good thing on Netflix. I don't know if you found it, but you watch it behind the scene.
Yeah.
So when they did like the closet scene, they could only hit one shot of it because once they destroyed the door, they weren't going to be able to
That's
put
right.
the door back up. So the producer actually does the closet scene. He said that way, if it gets screwed up, it's my fault. And so they took the 2 actors out. But these 2 actors, they're basically like best friends of these guys.
Yeah.
They went to film school
They were all
together.
buddies. Yeah.
And they used to hold cameras and all this. And they're like, you're kind of big. Just put this on. And then that was it. So
And they got paid a whopping $25 a day.
I like
That's
that. Righteous bucks.
That's right.
And Jamie Lee Curtis got $8,000.
Wow.
Yeah, when he's all done.
I would have put that check on the wall. Here you go.
At $25 a day, Nick Castle.
Nick Castle. Yeah.
And Nick Castle, after Halloween, he became a director taking the helm on films such as The Last Starfighter,
Good.
Dennis the Menace, 1993,
Not so good.
Major Payne, 95,
Very good.
and the best of the whole list, The Boy Who Could Fly, 1986.
The best.
How did you get that back on here? I thought we had a no boy who could fly zone.
Nope.
Oh, no.
No fly zone.
Nope, had to
The
happen.
boy who could fly.
That was a great movie.
No, it's
86.
not. Everyone knows it's not a great movie.
No
No one. I've
check
never
out our
talked.
episode about films of
You
86.
can check it out, and I say the same thing on that. You could pick 10 movies from 1986, and that was one of the 10. Although
do you see
I picked Howard the Duck.
I picked Howard the Duck.
Yeah, Tony Moran, you guys talked about that, plays the unmasked Michael.
Yes.
Mhm.
And he got $250.
I know.
That's because they showed his face.
Well,
That's right.
and he was only there for, he only did a short period.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
So, yeah.
He's like, I'll take my money.
Well, that's good. Most of the cast supplied their own wardrobe
I saw that.
because you couldn't afford
And Jamie
wardrobe.
Lee Curtis went to
JC Penney's.
JCPenney.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Spent
I like it.
$100.
She got a smart suit.
That's right.
Do you think? Yeah, I feel like JCPenney missed out when this movie got so popular. You could have had a Jamie Lee Curtis line
No, I bet they did.
for teenage babysitters.
That's right.
Some,
Teenage babysitters.
bell bottoms, and here's a great outfit to die in.
Yes.
Here, wear this.
You too can be murdered by Michael
That's
Myers.
right, Michael Myers.
That was one of my first thoughts when I was watching the movie last night was, what is Rob remembering about babysitters?
Yes, because you had a babysitter.
But I don't.
Was she ever being attacked? Or,
And you were always
having
watching
these
movies
problems?
with the babysitter.
Yes.
Did they ever
She-
lock themselves out while you were inside
No,
taking
she
a
was-
nap?
No, because they knew how to open a door.
Could she open a door?
And they knew how to. They didn't lock
She
themselves
just
in.
lost the
Okay.
keys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't lock themselves in.
In.
She locked that. What's her name?
Jamie Lee Curtis?
No, the one that locks herself in the stupid laundry room. She locks herself
Oh.
in.
That was
the
Annie.
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 Yeah.
Annie locks herself in.
Well,
She doesn't lock herself out.
she thought it was a hiding spot.
How do you lock yourself
Then
in?
she got stuck in a window.
Well,
Yeah.
to be fair, she didn't know he could rip doors off of their hinges and
But
stuff.
she
so-
locked herself in. You
Where-
turned.
Where are you going to go?
Turned.
Turn the lock, open the door.
Well, Annie might not be the smartest friend.
friend
/ character. So she was
Little-
trying.
I mean, she
I feel like she's only got one thing on her mind anyway.
what would that be?
Not babysitting.
Well, she gets-
she pawned that kid off on Jamie Lee
That's
Curtis
true.
real quick.
That's true.
So she's our asexual friend. So I'm gonna go find my boyfriend.
Did you see who Annie's boyfriend was on the phone?
No.
It was John Carpenter.
Oh wow.
Oh yes, yeah. Paul
Paul.
is lame-o.
Which
'Cause
one? Paul.
Paul, that's
Yeah.
Annie's.
Because she says
He got in trouble
Why
throwing
not-
eggs and
yeah. He
stuff
says
through
why
windows.
don't, she goes, why don't you walk over here?
Yeah.
He says, why don't you come pick me up?
That's right.
He could just walk his ass over.
Time
Everybody
out.
else walks in this town.
I'm just
Why can't
Yeah,
Oh, Paul. Maybe Paul hurt his ankle at basketball practice.
I don't think so.
he? He heard himself running away while throwing eggs.
That's
Well,
right.
he was gonna go out. Was he one of them out drinking? No, that was somebody else.
Yeah.
Maybe he was
I was going to say, no, he was
too drunk to
grounded by
drive.
his parents.
That's true.
Okay.
Anyway.
Did you? So Dr. Loomis.
Yeah, Peter Cushing.
Peter Cushing.
Yeah, he was originally.
That has nothing to do with Dr. Loomis.
It
He
is.
was-
He was
he-
one of the first
Oh,
choices.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
I
So
saw
was Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee. Yeah.
yeah.
But
And he said it was the role that he was saddest about refusing.
I saw that. Christopher Lee did say that. He regretted that.
I saw Christopher Walken
I did not see
Whoa,
that.
I
You didn't
didn't.
find that?
Yeah, no,
for Dr. Loomis.
that'd be awful.
How would that have gone, Rob? How would that have gone?
I don't know.
I spent 15 years trying to keep him in prison. He's evil. It's pure evil.
It could have been a skunk.
It could have been.
It might have been. He got hungry.
We got
Oh,
He got hungry.
you know, I used to be the impersonation guy around here, but you've really taken the mantle on this.
No, I haven't.
it's good.
So we'll
Keep
just
it.
go. We can go down all
I
your.
can't wait for his
we can-
Wahlberg.
We can go down all your hits.
can't do
What
the
if Dr. Loomis was Arnold Schwarzenegger? What do you got for that one, Rob?
You got the Arnold. You're good. Yeah.
He's got to get him out of town. He's evil.
The evil. I can't even. The evil.
can't do
I
it.
can't even do it.
He's gone from here. The
gone
evil.
from here.
He's gone away.
It's gone.
Call Haddonfield.
Run!
Get your man, sheriff. Get out of here.
Oh,
Well, the parents.
no,
So,
that's awful.
okay.
What are we doing? What are we
Talking about the
doing?
casting choices.
Talking about casting.
I
People that listen to
heard
this.
that they were trying to get Dennis Quaid in the movie because he was
Oh,
married
he would-
to
yeah.
PJ Souls.
Is this an opportunity for our first Dennis Quaid impersonation?
What does he
I don't
I am
sound
ready,
like?
Kurt.
I do not have a Dennis
What
Quaid.
does he sound
I
like?
think he just sounds like a guy.
Yeah, he's just a guy.
I think he's just Dennis.
just-
Quaid.
But
yeah.
he was filming a movie of the week, so he couldn't do it.
Oh, what was the movie of the week?
I don't know.
I don't know.
That would've been-
His wife didn't say on the behind the scenes
that
I was
would've-
watching.
Now, was he
That
married?
would have been
he
a
was,
deep cut if you could have found that movie
He
of
was
the week.
married to the gal that was playing Linda, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Because I read somewhere
Totally.
that when they went to the screening or they went to see it in the theater, Quaid and his wife were in the audience. And somebody says in the scene where she goes, "Is there anything? Do you see anything
Did
you
you get
like?"
a Quado reference in
I did.
on Halloween? Quaid! It's a Quado.
Wow. No, somebody in the audience. So when she says, "Do you see anything you like?" Somebody in the audience says, "Yeah, sure do."
Sure
Oh, yeah, she was sitting right in front of him.
Yeah, and he asked her, "Do you want me to
Beat him up.
do you want me to take care of that?"
Oh, he's such a
and she
tough
said,
guy.
"No, let's just."
You know what I would have
She
done?
was flattered.
If I was sitting behind him, you know what I'd have done? Quaid,
Wow.
come closer. Quaid.
Wow.
I set him off. I'm
You
sorry.
can
folks.
almost just you could get a Quado into every movie. I think there's no problem with it. Call Mike
No.
Myers over. Mike, come closer.
Did you see that Donald Pleasance got paid $20,000
Good.
for 5 days of work?
What did Donald
And he had
Pleasance?
18 minutes of
Well,
scene time.
What was he famous for before this?
I don't know.
So he was in the James Bond movie.
I was going to say, he was.
The blowhard guy. He's basically what Dr.
Dr.
Evil
Evil.
played on with
yeah,
that CPI.
yeah.
He does that thing where he goes, anyway, he's in the Bond movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dr. No.
so maybe. I don't
Was
know.
he Dr.
I don't
No?
know. I don't know my on.
Probably.
I don't know.
I only know it. Was a
I don't
hiccup.
know if he's Dr. No.
What are you doing?
I hiccuped.
He hiccuped, shivered. It's a
What
whole
is
thing.
going on?
Yeah.
He's having a seizure. It's fine.
My body's failing.
People
me.
listening right now are like, what is going on?
What is going on? So, okay, interesting facts. Originally called the Babysitter Murders.
I saw
Although
that,
yeah.
I watched that documentary and the one dude says, no, it was never called the Babysitter Murders. But then John Carpenter said it was called the Babysitter Murders. So I'm not sure who to believe on that.
I'm going to
one.
go with the guy that was writing
Yeah,
it.
I guess, yeah. The movie's set in the Midwest, Haddonfield, Illinois, filmed in California.
Fictional town.
I think you alluded to
the palm trees in the background.
Yeah, I saw that.
And they had to bring in leaves because there were no leaves.
And they reused them.
Yeah, they had to rake them back up
and
bag
reuse
them.
them.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And there were only 2 actual pumpkins in the movie. The rest they bought weird squashes. He said, and they were green,
painted 'em.
and they had to paint them orange.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
The
one of the
squashes were cheaper?
pumpkins, one of the pumpkins they used was the one they let Tommy fall on. I'm like, why would you just use a
Stupid Tommy.
squash for that one?
Stupid Tommy.
Tommy, God, that kid. Do you want to talk about Tommy now? I don't like Tommy.
No, we've got categories for
we'll
Tommy.
get Tommy.
later.
We got
Jeez.
categories.
I think you said filming took 22 days.
Yeah.
Is that right?
22 days. Yeah.
8 filmed on the same block as Teen Wolf and Back to the Future. So that same area in Pasadena with those houses.
I can see that.
So
They're like the mask was a $2 Captain Kirk mask that they was just stretched out and they painted.
Yep. Well, they removed all they removed the
face,
eyebrows. So they said it looked blank. But they also brought a clown mask back.
Yep.
They brought 3 masks and Richard Nixon. So it was Nixon.
I didn't see the Nixon one. I saw the
Nixon,
clown.
a clown mask, and Shatner. And Shatner's the one they ended up with. But-
Shatner wins, but it didn't look like Shatner. It just looked like
didn't, yeah.
a faceless person.
Yes. And after the first movie, they gave it to one of the guys. They weren't expecting to make a second movie, so they just let it go. So that mask, the particular one, has only was used in the first one, and then they've had to redo the mask, and they've said it's never quite looked the
Right.
same.
Yeah.
Like it never looked like the first mask. So, but the first mask popped up years later, like in 2004. It got sold to some comic book collector guy or something. So maybe it still exists out there. I don't know. Myers House is in South Pasadena, California. If you want to visit it, it was going to be demolished in the state of California.
And then they moved it to a new location. And then they put it on the National Registry.
Yeah,
For
historical landmark.
Yeah, it's one of the oldest houses in that neighborhood.
Yeah,
Hey, you can tour it. No, I saw that.
Do you think it's historical because it's an old house, or
It was because it was an old house because it was made in the 1800s.
but they're not just justifying because of the Halloween
That's
connection?
correct.
So if Halloween was never filmed in that house, you think they still save it and put
Of
it on the
course.
National Registry?
Well, it probably would have fell down before they put it on the National
Okay.
Registry
I gotcha.
without the movie.
So,
Probably helped.
I saw
Go
that he
ahead.
did the entire score of the movie in just 3 days.
I know, and Carpenter did it.
Yep.
He did everything.
He-
They didn't have
well,
any money,
they
so
didn't
I'm
have
just
a budget,
gonna-
yeah.
I'm just going to do it all.
I did like he said he turned in an original movie to the movie company and they're like, this movie's terrible. It's not scary at all. And that was because he turned it in without the music.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, it's not scary. It's just people walking around.
Oh, yeah.
And then all right, here's the music now. Oh, it works now.
People walking around.
That's right.
You were back to the walking.
There's so much walking. Makes my calves hurt.
I read that none of the comic books, Laser Man, Neutron Man, Tarantula Man, in Time's collection are real. No, go figure.
Oh,
They're
shocking.
actually
Hmm.
copies of Howard the Duck.
No.
Nice.
There you
Nice.
go.
Got to repurpose those.
Got to come back. Yeah.
6 Degrees of Howard the Duck. We can tie that to every movie. So far, we've gotten a Quado, Howard the Duck,
Oh, God.
Ghostbusters. Over the top, man. We can just tie everything to
That's
Halloween.
That's right.
So, so here's something. So at the beginning, we know how the movie opens. Michael kills his sister.
Mhm.
So he sees. They show up from his perspective. What's the boyfriend's name? I forget.
Not Bob.
No, Bob's
Bob's
later.
later.
I don't know if we get the boyfriend's name,
Yeah.
but the boyfriend with Judith,
Yeah.
the original
Yeah,
sister.
yeah.
They're making out on the couch.
Yeah.
They go upstairs.
Oh, I know what you're
Mike's
gonna say.
watching. Well, I just for fun.
Did you count the time?
I did.
And just
So-
walking in and the boyfriend coming down the
Okay,
stairs.
so here's
It's
what
like
I got.
A minute.
The light goes out and that music starts. So when the light goes out, I'm assuming that's boom boom time.
Coitus.
Michael walks around the house, comes back through the living room. He's standing there. Old boy runs down the steps. She said, "You're going to call me, right?" "Yeah, I'm going to call you." That guy seems like he goes out the door.
He's not calling
So
her.
let me just explain. I stopwatch this. 1 minute. 1 minute and 17 seconds from when that light
Hey.
goes out till he's down the steps going out the door.
Redressed and ready
They
to go.
went upstairs,
He got what he
got
needed.
undressed, did the thing, got redressed. He got out the door. I think this is the best saving of a life by premature ejaculation any human, because if he's up there another minute, Michael's going to come kill everybody. But because he's such a 1 minute man, a legitimate 1 minute man,
True statement.
out the door. Look, you know what? There is, premature having a getting excited.
I don't think he got his pants off.
This is beyond. This is on level of American Pie when Jim just, and I think that even took 2 minutes. All right. And he was able to conjure it up a second time. This dude's hitting the skids. See you, babe. Like, I don't even know. Look, we all understand how this situation works. I don't know what happens in a minute, 17 seconds. Like Kurt said, I don't even think I can get everything off and get on the bed. Yeah. Like, that's literal, like
it takes me more time than that just to get up the stairs now.
He is the exact, like, definition of a 2-pump chump. Boom, boom. Peace, lady.
Peace, lady.
See ya. So, but yeah, 1 minute, 17 seconds.
Nice.
That is record time. And I mean, Bob goes quick later. Bob looks like a marathon man next to old boy right here. All right. Let's get away from our 2-pump chump. You guys got anything else? Interesting facts you want to share?
One more thing I had was I thought it was funny because of the budget and they didn't have money to bring in a whole nother actor for the kid killing for Michael doing the killing. It was Deborah Hill, the producer and co-writer, which I thought was very funny because when she picks up the knife, she's like 5.5 feet tall, and Michael's like 3.
You don't think that maybe that's why they kept Judith sitting, because then it would have always been a downward stroke.
Yes, it's true.
Stroke.
Well, because Michael would have, even if the short stature would have been going down.
Deborah even goes, I never even touched her. It's weird. She died.
Do you feel like for the amount of times he stabs Judith,
and
then he's standing in the yard
8 times.
Okay, so he's in the front yard. He's holding the knife. There's a little bit of blood on the knife. I feel like his whole outfit would be like splattered.
Should be covered, yes,
with blood.
There should be many times in the movie he should be covered.
Going back to our CSI Criminal Minds days, it feels like blood splatter would definitely.
Absolutely.
I've watched the OJ thing. Blood went everywhere. So I don't know how Michael was able to just avoid none of it on his clown suit.
And I think you're right. Every murder
should have blood.
He should have been just doused.
He's cutting throats. Jugular squirt.
You're a forensics guy too.
Exactly.
Yeah. Before you became a teacher, you worked in forensics.
He was in the health industry.
Correct.
Yes.
He was in the health industry. He knows how it works.
Well, then could we also say that when Michael gets stabbed in the neck with the yarn needle, should there have been some blood?
Maybe a little, yes.
When the hanger went into his eyeball, possibility for any sort of fluid coming out?
Maybe some fluid.
Okay. But it didn't seem like there was.
Nah.
And the knitting needle went in deep.
I thought so.
Maybe that's why his eye was all messed up when the mask finally came out.
Yeah.
I did laugh at that part when he took the knitting needle to the neck and then just how quickly he fell.
Yeah.
I giggled at that.
Like the adrenaline finally ran out.
He just said, I need a minute.
And then he just goes down.
Give me a second.
Yeah.
So I think that's why in Scream.
And she stays there.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
she's tired.
She's trying to figure out.
Running. A lot of running.
Mm-hmm. She's trying to figure out what's going on.
And she's just,
again leave.
She's dazed.
Well, according to you, it'd be useless to try to leave. She's not going to open the door anyway.
She's locked in. She locked herself in.
So, all right. You got any other interesting facts, Rob?
Oh, I got lots of stuff.
Let's go.
Too many. When they're driving in the car, I thought this was interesting. And he's following them really close.
Really close, yes.
And they never notice him. Big giant.
That's because they're in their own world. They're smoking pot.
They're
right
high.
Now.
But again.
True. And did they have to pull over to say hi to Dad? Just keep driving.
I know.
I know. I always thought that was weird.
Worst cop ever.
Well, I know.
Worst cop ever not being able to smell that when it's fresh.
He smelled it.
He knows. He says to Loomis later, the kids are out smoking pot tonight.
Yes, he knows. But just keep driving. You just wave. Go, hi, Dad.
By the way, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Why didn't you stop? Because we had somewhere to be.
Jamie Lee Curtis / Laurie Strode, not good at smoking weed.
Nope.
Not her thing.
I mean, I wouldn't know.
No, I know you wouldn't.
Yeah.
But I'm saying from what I've watched Dazed and Confused and Half Baked.
From what I saw, Dazed and Confused
and Half Baked, and Road Trip, and there's about 30 other movies. But I can tell you that she just looks like she's not professional.
No, she's the Girl Scout.
Yeah.
So she's
on the other hand, Annie, no problem.
Oh, yeah.
No problem.
Not my first day.
No, when they're driving, the song on the radios and he's following them. It's "Don't Fear the Reaper."
I heard that. Yeah. I thought that was really good.
That was good.
And I may have never noticed that till this watch.
I never noticed it.
Very well placed. Yeah. They only had a $300,000 budget. What do you think that cost them?
Right. Okay, and this is something I will admit. I don't know that I'd seen this. I can't remember the last time I actually watched this movie
Okay.
prior to prepping for this show.
Okay.
I don't know if I had actually ever watched it. I knew of it. Scenes
Wow.
were very, they came back to me.
And you're
must have
shaking
watched
your
it,
head the same way?
but I don't know.
I was waiting for you to ask the question. What do you remember the first time
I
you watched
don't-
it? I was
I
going
don't
to
know
say,
if I
well, since it was
actually-
last night,
Well,
it's
hold
easy
on.
to remember.
Yeah.
I think
What do you
that's-
remember from first time watching this?
Well, since it was last night, it's going to be everything we talk about today.
You had never
Yeah.
seen this?
No,
I think I'm with
I
him.
was never.
Wow.
I
My
don't know-
family was never a horror scary movie
No.
group, and so I just never watched it. And it
But
just
now, Halloween's a pretty big deal at your house, and your wife, my sister-in-law,
but
loves
horror
Halloween
movies are not a big thing in my house. My daughter will watch them.
Yeah,
My daughters will watch like It and stuff, but it's not a thing that
but you guys have like a whole Halloween rotation every year of movies.
we do.
Yeah, I've been. Aubrey's told me about them.
Okay,
I'm just telling you.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, you live there.
You live there.
It's.
Like,
I mean, it's movies like Hocus Pocus.
Sleepy Hollow,
Yeah.
though. I know I've heard come up.
Well, yeah,
Sweeney
Sleepy Hollow.
Todd. I've heard about the Sweeney Todd.
But those are
from her.
more like
I haven't seen Sweeney Todd in years.
More would that be like more contemporary?
Yeah,
No.
I guess.
More modern? Anyway.
Wow, I am.
Yeah.
I'm somewhat shocked.
Yeah.
Well, then we're getting a good.
This-
It's almost like Connor's Corner with you two fools.
That's right.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's-
So,
Yeah, because prior to watching it, I don't
all right. Well, then before we jump into the categories,
think I
first
ever watched it.
first assessment.
I thought it was definitely better than I thought it would be, but it was also very slow.
Okay.
It was
But I
very
knew
slow.
I knew that was the whole premise of the movie to
Mhm.
build the suspense through that. I don't know if as a kid I probably couldn't sit through it because of that.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, my daughter watched it with me this morning, and she wasn't impressed. And I think she was on her phone a lot. And I think it's because it was there was lots of moments of no music, no dialogue. I will tell you, I listened to it this morning while my wife was over reading, and I put on my Bluetooth headphones and listened to it through my phone. Totally different experience with the sound right in your ear. You hear things that you don't hear on TV. The breathing is there a lot more.
Yeah.
There's sound. You can hear people talking in the
yeah.
background and stuff. It's a whole different when it's right in your ear.
Well, for me, I saw this young. Like it was like on a Halloween or right before Halloween at a friend's house. And they had a copy of it. And we watched it, and you say it was slow, so you don't think you'd make it through it. And you're kind of echoing that. But I'm telling you, I sat in front of the TV like I couldn't move
Yeah.
because I'm like, what's going to happen next?
Yes.
That's the way I felt about it. Now, I was going to ask this question later, but we can just do it now because you're saying it.
Yeah.
I'll say the same thing. My kids watch it because we've always watched it. But I bet if you show a kid in 2024, they're probably not going to find it the same sort of scary that.
No.
But if you think about 1978
This was
or
scary.
even 1980, there was no movie like this. But now they've had Screams, they've had Saws, they've had all these other things. It Follows, all these ones that have come out now. This would seem a tamer version of those.
Well, and it was interesting because my oldest daughter has been watching Scream.
Yes.
She's into the Scream series now.
Yep.
And she started putting things together. So she watched that first. Then we watched Halloween and I'll be right back.
Yep.
A lot of the, Randy's rules.
They're all from Halloween.
She was like, "Oh, there it is." So it was kind of
drink. Don't drink alcohol.
Yeah.
Don't have sex.
That's right.
Yep.
She started to see all of the rules, and I go, "This is where it started. This is the movie." So it was neat to watch generationally come back together. So it was good. But, yeah.
Well, then these categories are going to be more interesting than I was anticipating.
Yeah.
So now I am weighted upon baby's breath. Is that what they say?
Sure.
Baited.
I think it's bated breath. I think
Not
it's
baby's breath.
Is it
If
baby's
you want to
breath
be
and
in front of a baby's smelling their breath,
No,
go for it.
I think that's what's
But
in
I believe
flowers.
it's baited.
No, I think it is baited. But I think baby's breath, it's those little things in flower
It is.
bouquets.
Yes. Baby's
Rob was a florist before he was a
Yeah.
principal, so he was able to answer these questions.
Baby's
So baby's breath.
He's part botanist.
He minored in botany in college.
on baby's breath.
On-
That's cute.
You know
That's
what?
Nice.
I know we're waiting on baby's breath. So with that, we're gonna jump into the categories. So category 1, our favorite quotes.
They're here.
You can't handle the truth.
No. I am your father.
There's no crying. no crying in baseball!
When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're gonna see some serious shit.
So what I would say about this movie is, I would say quotability is not its strong point.
No,
like people don't go like, it's not like an everyday conversation. You hear Halloween quotes.
Yeah.
So I take this as I watch the movie, I'm like, what do I remember? Or like, what was my favorite while I was watching it? Because you don't have you can't handle the truth moment in Halloween. I mean, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah.
So we'll find out. Well, since it was so difficult for you, Rob, get us started. Tell us your favorite quote.
Dang it, I don't know.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I struggled with this one to find one that was but okay, so I'm gonna go. There's the scene where Lindsay and Lori and Tommy, they're in the house. She's babysitting them, and Lindsay says, "I'm scared." Lori said, "There's nothing to be scared of." Tommy says, "Are you sure?" Lori nods. Tommy says, "How?" And Lori says, "I killed him." Tommy says, "But you can't kill the boogeyman." And I thought that was good writing. I thought for the lack of dialogue in the movie, I thought when they did talk, I thought it was pretty good.
And for the horrible delivery by Tommy.
But you can't kill the boogeyman. I think that's the premise there. That sets the whole Halloween trilogy, or not even trilogy, it's more than that. It's 13 movies now or something like that. But anyway, but you can't kill the boogeyman.
I like it. You know what, Rob?
What?
Gold star. You did good.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Good job.
Thanks,
Good
buddy.
work.
Yeah. Look, we're both
okay.
We're both super duper.
Super
All right.
duper.
Good work on the floor. Everyone on the floor. Great work. Good job, Kip. You in the booth. You're good. All right. What's your favorite quote?
All right. Mine is when the nurse and Loomis are in the station wagon driving over. And the nurse goes, "Don't you think it would be better if you referred to it as him?" And he goes, "If you say so." And she kind of condescendingly goes, "Your compassion's overwhelming."
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I like
Smokes
that
and
one.
lights up a cigarette.
Oh, yeah. And then it didn't roll down the windows.
Yeah.
They don't
No.
care. No, that's fine.
That was
So, and she's a nurse. You'd think she'd
Yep.
know better.
Okay.
But no.
Yeah.
They
It
didn't
was,
care back then.
It was the late 70s.
Late 70s.
Yeah. Smoking with
Pretty
the
good.
windows up was my childhood.
Perfectly accepted.
gonna say,
That's
yes.
fine.
Yeah.
So,
I'm still coughing because of it.
I know. My yearly chest cough, I thank
Yeah,
my
it's
parents
good.
for all the secondhand smoke. Thanks,
Well,
Mom. She listens.
she always does.
So, sorry.
Well, thanks.
Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
My favorite quote comes from Dr. Loomis. Same area, but it's after they're out of the car.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what we want to call it.
Oh, yeah.
It's after Mike steals the car. He steals the car.
Yep.
And Dr. Loomis runs over and goes, "He's gone. The evil is gone." He's very dramatic. So, but he says the evil is gone. So,
But then right after that, doesn't he say, he's like, "I've got it."
Yeah.
Yes, and then he runs away.
That's correct.
What does he have?
Eureka.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, I have an idea."
You know what he has.
What does he have?
He knows he's going to the Haddonfield.
Oh, okay.
So he's got to go warn everybody.
Then where's he going?
He's
To the
Did he go
hospital.
into the hospital?
well, yeah.
Where
'cause-
everybody's been
But the
murdered, apparently.
next morning he comes walking out with a doctor from the hospital.
Yeah.
He's like, maybe the staff taught him to drive.
and he got a rental car. Yeah. He was doing very well last night.
Yeah, he sucks. Anyway, so yeah, I've got he's gone, the evil is gone. So and then the couple like honorable mentions. You see anything you like?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
That was
good.
something.
Yeah.
You know what I didn't like? You could say it was a quote or a catchphrase, but the amount of times she says "totally,"
11
That's
times.
11.
that's her catchphrase.
but the way she says it, I really don't enjoy.
Totally.
Totally.
Yeah. Totally.
I mean, it's just like, why is she dragging that O out? So
In one sentence, she says, "Totally. It's totally insane. We have 3 new chairs to learn in the morning. The game is in the afternoon. I have to get my hair done at 5, and the dance is at 8. I'm totally wiped out." She said "totally" in one sentence 3 times.
Perfect. I was going to say, another one I liked is when she had just seen him out her bedroom window, and she was talking to her friend on the phone, and it goes, "Mr. Riddle was watching you?" Lori, Mr. Riddle is 87. He can still watch. That's probably all he can do.
All he could
that's
do.
all they
Yeah.
can do. That's a pretty good. I like that.
That's funny.
Well, those are good. I would say they're favorite quotes, but this isn't like a quotable movie.
Mhm.
No.
Again, you don't go.
I
and
wouldn't use these in everyday vernacular.
like when we see each other, I go, "Kurt, the evil is gone. He's gone from here."
Well, now
You might do that to your wife as I leave the
That's
house.
correct. Yeah, the evil is gone.
What was the one we were talking about earlier where she goes, "Hey, jerk, speed
Oh, yeah.
kills."
Yeah, I have my opinions on Annie. Yeah,
Annie's great.
Speed kills, and then she she goes, "Can't you take a joke?"
I hate guys that
Can't
have a
take
car and don't have a sense of humor.
Damn it! Damn it! That might go back to our the way she delivers. She might be perfect for our fat baby ass thing, right? I'd like to hear Annie deliver that. I think it would be the upper echelon of that. Thing.
No.
So, all right. Well, that takes us to category 2. Your favorite scene in the movie.
Favorite scene.
So mine. It's hard because they're long scenes. So it's like, what do you?
So it's hard and long. Got it.
Hard and wow, you're on fire today. That's like 3 of those you've taken without even blinking. Not even a problem.
We had a really good warm up
we
today
did.
before.
We
the
did
show,
have a
so
good
that-
warm up.
Yeah, he's
That's right.
loosened up.
We were talking about that Kingdom, so he's excited. Anyway, I've got
so many.
I've got
inside jokes.
I've got Michael Myers. I like when he was standing outside and she saw him in the sheets.
Yeah.
Because it's it just feels very like if you ever looked out your window and thought you saw somebody in your yard, and then you look again and they're not there. That whole boogeyman thing. But as a kid, you might sometimes go, "What was that? What did I just see?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So of everything I saw, I like that because it felt like the most real thing that could actually happen to me. You know what I mean? Like mistakenly seeing someone in the yard or something like that. And he's, for all the walking at his own pace he does just disappear. And he's like 6'5".
Yeah.
So imagine Rob just randomly disappearing in a half a heartbeat. I don't see that coming, but that's fine. So
No,
Not
my,
with
my
not with his
lateral
feet problems.
movement.
not with the problems he has now.
No.
So, all right.
all swollen.
Kurt, favorite scene?
I went with the Lori running scene
No,
because it started the horror trope of you can't get away because you're falling down
for no reason.
Yeah.
You're knocking on the door, but I love the knocking on the door, them looking through, turning on the light, looking through the blinds, and then saying, "Nope, you're on your own, lady."
They turn the porch lights on.
They
Check to see who it was, close the blinds, and turn the lights off.
Do you think that family has issues with the Strodes? And they're like, we're not talking to
We're not talking to them.
Absolutely.
Like
Her dad sold us this crappy house.
Yeah, exactly. Got like 30% on the interest.
That's right.
This is
That
horrible.
Strode girl
Stupid
again.
Strodes.
That Stroud girl again screaming.
Jeez.
She's such a drama queen.
All the time with her. Get a boyfriend.
She can't.
Get laid,
She's
why
too
don't you?
smart.
No doubt.
Jeez,
Yeah, I'm too smart. Boys don't like smart girls. So,
Oh my gosh.
so, all right, Rob, what's your favorite scene?
I don't know.
Oh, good.
He's starting every category.
I
I
struggled
don't know.
because I think there were a lot of good scenes. I struggled to find just one.
Okay.
I had.
Give me your top 2.
Okay.
Look at the rope I'm giving you today.
Okay. I'll get my first one is the bedroom scene after she stabs him. Very iconic.
Okay.
Where she comes out of the closet and then his
sit up, the Undertaker sit up.
He's got great core.
He does have good core.
He just sits straight up. Very iconic.
Parkour.
And then earlier when after she discovers all the bodies and that his face kind of shows up in the background.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good scene.
Yeah.
That's scary.
I like that.
But
You're
then I
good.
think for me, the one that really stood out is when she's trying to get back in the house
Oh, yeah.
and she's run across the street, she's banging on the door, and he's coming.
At his own pace.
That was very tense. That was
It
very
was.
tense. I remember, being a kid, and you would have to. We had stairs in our house.
Yes, you did.
And if I had to take clothes down to the basement, I was up those stairs.
Yeah.
And around the corner before
You were like-
Michael could come up the stairs and grab me.
I did find it very interesting. He made it across that street through that open window real fast.
Yeah,
He did. Yeah.
Just as she was just locking the door.
Well, when you
Yes.
talk about his core,
Yeah.
he seems to have possibly superhuman strength anyway.
Yes.
He ripped a headstone clean out of the ground,
And carried it.
carried it around.
And
with
there
him,
was no dirt
apparently.
on that headstone
No,
when he
he-
put it on the
He
bed.
cleaned it up.
Cleaned it.
Cleaned it.
Yeah.
He's very
But
clean.
He ripped
I-
it out of the ground.
But if
All by himself.
if we had time and we
Yes.
really unpacked his day,
Correct. No, it's insane.
he had a lot of time. He's
did.
wandering around during the day.
I gotcha.
He's planning this. He had time to clean the headstone. He had time to plan. He's planned this out.
But do you believe he's ripping a headstone out of the ground?
Sure.
No.
He's the boogeyman.
I guess.
He's the boogeyman.
All
And
right.
he has a really great station wagon
That's good.
to haul it around in.
Yeah. We'll talk about that here. We're coming up. The category is about to happen.
Oh, okay. All right.
So,
Anyway, I just gave a whole.
your favorite scene.
Yeah,
So,
those are-
okay, category 3. Biggest plot hole.
Did you have your scene?
yeah.
Oh,
Mine was
sorry.
the running.
The running.
running.
I was running.
So our category 3 is what you think the biggest plot hole or / something just doesn't make sense.
There's a lot.
So I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
So here's my first one. Here's where I'm going to start. I'm just telling you.
You start.
Okay, Loomis. The whole movie, Loomis is convincing everyone who will listen.
Yeah.
This is the most dangerous human walking the planet.
Really, it's just that one sheriff.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
but the nurse, anyone who will listen, Loomis is that other doctor.
Yeah.
No, he's the most evil thing any human's ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
We have to like tie him to a stake and burn him or something.
Right.
Anyone will listen. But then he's being transferred to another facility.
Uh-huh.
And Loomis and some 30-year-old nurse are the only two sent to pick this guy up. You're telling me you're not going to bring a group of that have like shackles and like some shotguns to transport this like prisoner? You're just going to send Loomis and this girl in the middle of the night, this nurse.
They got the little cage
to pick
for
him
the
up.
back seat.
And I'm telling you
it
right
makes
now.
no sense.
I roll up on that place and there's people wandering around.
That's my other
a
question.
big plate of nope. I turn the car around and I leave.
Yeah, as soon as I see 4 or 5 inmates outside
in the
pouring
middle
of the
rain.
night,
Nope.
we go backwards, we call the police,
No, I'm not.
and we address what's going on afterwards.
Stop the car.
Loomis,
Turn around and get the hell out of
Loomis
here.
says, no, go up to the broken gate and try to use the phone.
By the way, and there's a scenario where
Do as I
Loomis
say.
is not a good doctor.
No.
And he's not good at any situational awareness whatsoever.
Well, when they're up in
So-
the house there and that thing breaks the window and he gets all scared and he pulls his gun out and he
I've got a permit.
Yeah.
He's,
Yeah, the permit.
he has to go, well, you probably think of me as some, quack doctor. And he
Yeah.
says, but I have my permit here.
Yeah, my permit. So
You seem like you're scared. I am.
Yes. So staying in that scene though,
Yeah.
Michael won. Okay, so I guess he was planning this. I don't know.
Yeah.
How did he get out if he's so dangerous?
That was my question was, how did he get out of the hospital?
Yeah, and then even the next day, those doctors don't seem too concerned that people were out and about. But okay, digress. He jumps in and steals the car.
Yeah.
So, and they kind of make mention of it next scene, but it still doesn't make any sense. He went in there when he was 6.
I know.
How is he driving a car?
I know.
He just knows.
He's
and
driving
he drives
a car,
well.
drives well, and B, he's 100 and something miles from Haddonfield. He doesn't know which direction to go and whatever, and he just gets to Haddonfield. I'll just go back.
I
It's
found
fine.
this. I think it might have been on Reddit. Somebody zoomed in the scene where Loomis and Breckett meet outside of the store that he had robbed,
Mm-hmm.
and in the background you see the station wagon.
It's just right there.
Yeah.
So he comes to the stop sign, and somebody zoomed in, and Michael Myers looks. He looks both ways. Like
He's a good driver.
he's a really good driver.
God, what is happening?
It's so
He
funny
doesn't know any of
because
that.
they zoom in on him and you can see Michael look both ways in traffic before he pulls out. He's a very safe driver.
That's right.
And then
Good on him.
Very
you know?
good. And then Loomis comes over, and my favorite quote is, "The evil has gone. It's gone from here."
Yeah.
But how does he know Michael's the one who stole the car? He was over at
I
that
wondered
fence.
that. How do you
There's
know it's
like
Michael?
9 other inmates outside. He
Yeah.
just saw the car drive away, and he goes, "Up, Michael's gone." How do you know
Must be.
Michael's gone?
Yeah.
It
It must be
had to
Michael.
have been him. No one else. None of the other inmates would try to escape in a car. Okay, Dr. Loomis. And then he drives back to Haddonfield, bringing us back to his strength situation. He locates. He has no idea. He's 6. No idea what that cemetery is. He has no idea.
How did he know where that
in the
was?
middle of the night where her headstone would be? But he finds it, robs it, takes everything. So I don't know that whole scenario of getting back. And hey, Dr. Loomis, when you talk to the cops, by the way, we were driving a green station wagon with a big symbol on the door that
Keep an eye out for that.
whatever.
Yeah.
If you could just do a little quick radio to your other cops, if you see that station wagon, you might want to engage.
Well,
It never
it might
tells
be
him.
the only car driving around.
It
Well, and
is-
besides
later
my
in the
daughter.
movie, he's standing out in front. He's scoping out the.
He's been at the Myers house for hours,
And
and he
he
finally
looks-
turns around and goes, "Oh, there it is."
He
there it
looks
is.
over, and there it is, parked
Right
across the street.
Yeah.
He's been there all night.
All
Well,
night.
no, it's funny. When he looks, it looks like it's across the street, but then the next scene, he's
3
running
blocks
down
over.
the street, and he's like sprinting down the street before he finally gets
Yeah.
to it. The
He's-
camera,
he's 3 blocks
the
over.
camera
That's
depth
ridiculous.
was
Yeah.
a little off.
Yeah, Dr. Loomis, just share some info, please.
For me, one of the lines
Okay,
in
go
the
ahead.
movie that I think is most troubling, and I'm hoping that it was just actor error. So Bob and Linda are in the van. They're getting ready to pile out of the van to go into the house to have
Ooh. No,
schmexy time.
this was not an error. This was Bob trying to hook up a little thing.
Okay, so he says, so when Bob and Linda are talking about ripping each other's clothes off,
I know where he's
he
going.
then says he'll rip Lindsay's
Yes.
clothes off.
Mhm.
I know.
Lindsay's 8.
I am aware of that. Bob's a weirdo. But I was fine when Bob got stabbed.
I'm hoping I was
I was more than
fine.
happy.
I was hoping he meant Lori or Annie's,
Mhm.
but he clearly said
Says
Lindsay,
I'm aware.
and Lindsay is 8.
Ew.
Bob is
Got it.
18. So
Bob's
I was
gross.
like,
Bad Bob.
Bad Bob.
so then that kind of leads credence to some of the theories I saw that he was, because my daughter asked me, why is he killing people? What's Michael's
What's his motivation?
motivation?
So-
right? And and the closest thing I could find was that there's this kind of theme of irresponsibility, like irresponsible adults. Like he's reliving this because his sister chose sex over watching him as a child, and so he's going after people that are being irresponsible. So I'm like, he really didn't like Bob then.
Well,
because Bob was a predator.
Yeah, I saw a thing on YouTube where John Carpenter actually said the original intent is he's killing for no reason, and they wanted it to be no reason. In fact, in the first movie, they say how he goes after Lori.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they said at the beginning when she goes to drop the keys off at the Myers house, he's inside and he just sees her.
Yeah,
and it just a switch goes off that he wants to, because it kind of resembles his sister. But anyway, so a switch goes off, and then when he sees with her friends, he's like, well, he's going to take them out too. It was never supposed to be. In the second one, they rope in that she's his baby sister or something.
Yeah.
And John Carpenter even said the studio kind of forced that in.
Yeah.
Because the original story was it was supposed to be random. The idea for the viewer was this could just happen.
Mm-hmm.
It has no rhyme. It has no reason. There are just crazy people walking around who can all of a sudden just decide they want to slash and poke you. But you are 100% about Bob. When Bob got stabbed, I stood up and clapped. Good for you.
Back to what you just said. I found this interview. It said he was asked about, John Carpenter was asked about his thoughts on the Halloween franchise. As it turns out, he doesn't have many of them. I don't care, Carpenter said when asked about the franchise's legacy. I really don't care. The filmmaker explained that despite creating Michael Myers, he doesn't feel much ownership over the other films featuring the iconic slasher villain. The Halloween movie I love the most is the one I made back in 1978. And he goes on to talk about kind of the studio made the rest of them. And he's like, he has a lack of sentimentality towards the films after the 78.
And we talk about Halloween's the springboard.
Mm-hmm.
They were the first going franchisee.
Yep.
So then you get to see the rest of the things going franchisee after that. Oh, we can make a bunch of these and just make money.
So you don't think, Bob, that was a slip?
I don't know. I mean, because if it's a slip, that's an easy pull in editing, and they left it in.
Yeah.
It's been there for 40 something. It's been there for 42 years. I mean, or what at this point? 20, 40, I don't know. 44 years.
Even my daughter caught it when we were watching. She goes, wait, isn't Lindsay
46
She was like, isn't Lindsay the little girl?
Exactly.
And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
So she even picked up on it. I'm like,
maybe he meant to say Linda because Linda was going to be. Oh, well, but Linda's in the car.
Linda's in the car. Mm-hmm. So maybe she meant Annie?
Lori?
I don't know.
But Annie and Lori aren't there. That's why I don't know. It's rough.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Anyway.
So, all right. Well, Kurt, question, plot hole. What do you got?
I already did mine.
Did you?
I did.
What was it?
Mine was the, now I got to find it again. I said it a long time ago.
Oh, yeah. Yours was the, in the car.
Yeah.
That's right. We started with you. Yeah. No, I started. You went second. And then Rob
you brought it up. I said it again.
Rob got me in a rabbit hole. I forgot what was going on. Man, did we really cover all that? Well, I got one last one. The sheriff says to him, when he's talking to him in front of the house, he says, well, I'll let all my other deputies know, and we'll look for him. Loomis says, no, don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
He'll just come here to the house.
Yeah.
Because I don't want them reporting every mask on a street corner. We do want that, Loomis. What are you talking about? And on top of the fact that he stole, when they had the hardware store break-in, he stole knives and ropes and a mask.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And this guy's reported. I feel like between the car and him stealing, it should not be hard to find this guy. So the sheriff is not doing a good job either.
And the timeline's off because he had the mask earlier in the film.
That's what I thought.
Because then later he says he stole some mask. He's had the mask.
Or how about when Loomis finds the abandoned truck and doesn't walk an extra foot to see the dead body in the bushes?
Or report.
Didn't call the cops.
No,
nothing. I've got to get to Haddonfield. So, all right. Well, that'll take us to questions. There's probably more we're missing. But what you got? Any others, Rob?
No, I don't. But it doesn't.
It doesn't matter.
Well, why do people not shut doors? That was one thing I had.
Well, it's 1978. They didn't lock doors.
One of mine was, why did she keep dropping the damn knife?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, keep the thing. Hold on to it.
So,
stab him a few more times.
Yeah. All right. Well, category 4, Rob, your favorite category, our Fallujah scene.
Do I look stupid to you? No, sir. Do I look like a schmuck to you? No, sir. Those people out there, they kill for power, for money.
All right. Since you're in mid-drink, Kurt, what's your Fallujah scene?
Mine, you actually already brought it up. I got Mr. Donald Pleasance when he goes, he's gone. He's gone from here. The evil is gone.
I do like that.
So I literally just put Loomis.
Just Loomis.
Because
I was thinking of just Loomis too, because he's so intense.
Every scene
he's not a screamer
in,
like Loja, but he's so intense.
But every scene he's in, it's like the biggest emergency ever. But then when the cops offer him help, he's like, "No, we just wait. He'll come back." I'm like, what are you talking about,
My
Loomis?
favorite scene.
I think he just wanted to shoot him himself.
He does. He wants to kill him
His
himself.
hand's always in his pocket on the gun.
Is when I had
go away from here.
I had my headphones on this morning. I'm watching it, and I'm laughing out loud at the scene where he's hiding behind the bushes, and he tells,
"Go away,
get your ass away from there, Lonnie." And then the smile on his face. He just stands there. He's so proud of himself. He thought that was so
saved
funny.
the kids.
He saved him.
Well, yeah, get your ass away from there, Lonnie.
Yeah, Loomis is basically going 100% every time he's on camera. So, and again, the most terrifying human to ever walk around, but he's not helping catch him. So, no.
Did you have the same? You had Loomis.
So Loomis.
Yeah.
I just had the part where
I went with Linda's death scene where she really sells the.
She's being strangled.
I know, but But she really
she throws in the grunt.
So
it's a master class in acting.
Yeah, you really want to throw full Loja on someone being strangled?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. She really sold the.
You think so?
Yeah, she
had to get.
It was kind of it was almost comical. The way she.
And you're saying that was Linda?
Linda, when she was being strangled.
She explained that scene saying she had to keep telling Michael Myers to do it harder because he wasn't doing it enough.
You're not doing it harder
during the filming.
Harder.
Yeah. Strangle me harder.
So you're thinking that she did a great job selling that on the phone to Jamie Lee Curtis?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That last little.
Do you think Jamie Lee thinks,
I laughed at it. Sorry.
Do you think Jamie Lee thinks she's calling her mid-stroke?
Coitus?
Yeah, well, she says, she makes a comment about it.
Knock it off, Bob.
First, it's obscene chewing. Now I have to hear, obscene.
Totally.
Yeah, totally.
Totally.
Okay. All right. Well, that takes us to category 5. I think I know where this is going to go pretty soon, but this is going to be our worst actor / actress.
Mm-hmm. Who do you think?
Who do we think?
First?
I don't know.
Let's go, Rob. Rob, who is it?
Money now and a lot more when I get in that office. You can take that to the bank.
I'm gonna take you to the bank, Senator Trent. To the blood bank.
I found the bat cave.
We gotta get those locks changed.
She knows who we are.
Guess we'll just have to kill her.
Yep, we'll kill her later. We have work to do.
They're eating her! And then they're going to eat me! Oh my God!
All you wanted to do was embarrass me. Well, you did it, okay? Grandfather always said you were a loser. Now you're trying to make me one, and I hate you for it.
We're having a great job with our transitions today. So,
Sorry.
Rob, since Kurt already alluded to it, why don't you tell us your worst actor or actress?
I don't know.
No one. He thought it was an Oscar-winning effort.
Right.
It wasn't the act. It was the character. I went with Sheriff Brackett. I just thought he was
okay.
He repeatedly waves off Dr. Loomis.
Correct.
But then in his defense, he did try to say, "Let me get an all points bulletin out." And Loomis shakes him off.
Yeah, he's bad at his job. He's a bad sheriff.
He's just bad at his job.
Despite the notoriety that Myers has in Haddonfield for his murderous tendencies, the sheriff brushes off the threat of a loose murder way too quickly.
How old do you think Sheriff Brackett is? He's Annie's dad. Want to go with 40?
I was going to say 40-ish.
Yeah. Let's go 40. So 15 years earlier, he's 25. So he'd be new on the force.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't he have been around when Michael stabbed as a kid? So I feel like
absolutely.
I feel like he should have a little more invested in. Oh, Michael's back. Like that should be a trauma situation.
And then the whole interaction in the house where Loomis and him first go to the Myers house. Loomis says, "Does anyone live here?" "No, not since '63 when it happened. Every kid in Haddonfield thinks the place is haunted." Loomis says, "They may be right." Then they notice this dead dog. "What is that?" Sheriff Brackett says. Dr. Loomis says, "It's a dog."
He said he ate him.
Sheriff Brackett says, "It's still warm." Dr. Loomis says he got hungry. So we're assuming that he ate it. I guess I read later that in another movie they explained that he does eat it. I don't know.
Yeah,
Sheriff Brackett says it could have been a skunk.
Yes, could have been.
Dr. Loomis replies, "Could have, huh?"
Yeah.
Question mark. Sheriff Brackett says a man wouldn't do that. Loomis says this isn't a man. Yeah. But his response of
this isn't a man.
It could have been a skunk.
Yeah. You're looking at the body. You know it's not a skunk.
Yeah.
Well, and
who's confusing a skunk and a dog?
And I kind of read that as, does he think a skunk did that?
Yeah. it's
Oh, I see what
Like
you're
he
going
says,
with.
oh, it could have been a skunk that did this.
You think a skunk
Are we
attacked-
saying that a skunk is going to attack
a dog.
and kill a dog and eat it?
drag it into a house and eat it?
I thought he meant
He's a moron.
Yeah, he's a moron.
moron.
I agree. Yeah,
It
I'm
could
not-
have been a skunk. That's your deduction there, Officer Brackett?
Yes.
Well,
he's not a detective. He's
yeah,
just a
he's
sheriff.
just a
He
sheriff.
was-
And I'm going to
Hey,
take
it was
you.
a skunk.
I'm going to extend the family tree because Annie Brackett is my worst actress, played by Nancy Keys.
Yeah.
She's horrible. Like her whole delivery. Thanks for waiting, guys. And then she's like, "I'm never doing that again." And,
And
then it's just her whole delivery is awful. The speed kills.
Yeah.
The take a joke. Like,
Well, she gets a little
she's
butter on
bad.
her clothes and she has to completely strip
Oh
down.
my gosh.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
You
damn
just put a
butter.
little spray and wash on that and you just wait it out.
She's bad. Her character's bad. Her delivery's bad. Everything's bad. So you've gone. I've gone.
Yeah.
I've saved this because I feel like I know what's going to happen.
No.
So I want to turn it over to the movie hound.
Well, before you
For
turn it
last.
over to me, I got more about old Nancy.
Oh, okay.
Did you see why she has the job?
She's related to somebody.
No, she's married to the film production designer,
Well, there
Tommy
you
Lee
go.
Wallace, who also was Michael Myers in a few of the shots.
Yeah, because I mean they were on a budget,
They
but
were.
even on a budget, I feel like you could have done better than
Nancy.
Annie was my second, which is why I had a little information about her.
That's why I'm throwing it over to you. I want your
I went
first.
with what you know I'm going to
Yeah,
say.
I'm ready for it.
Because I hate children actors.
Yes.
Tommy is
God,
terrible.
He is
Tommy.
the worst.
Sorry,
Tommy
Brian
Doyle.
Andrews.
Yeah, he's bad.
not good.
Tommy Doyle.
His complete freak out about the boogeyman, and then 10
But he
seconds
saw the
later,
boogeyman.
yes, but then 10 seconds later, perfectly fine watching the movie.
Watching the
That's
movie.
true.
Yeah.
He does. Yeah.
No one believes me. I believe you, Tommy. God, children are the worst.
I think even Lindsay's like, "Shut up, Tommy." God.
Open the door and leave him.
Yeah.
Take
And she's
him.
saying, "Tommy, let me in." He
I know.
just is like,
He's
"Oh
got
my."
some crust in the eyes.
No,
Leave him
ever.
alone. He's been asleep for 10 minutes.
I told before.
true.
Hey, before we came on,
He really fell asleep fast.
before we came on the pod, Rob,
Oh.
I told Kurt, I said, I am not advocating bullying and I'm against it. But in this case, I understand the bullies when it comes to Tommy. Like, you'd just be like, dude, come on, man.
Well, what do they ask him? They say something about, what happens on Halloween. He goes,
Yeah.
You get candy.
You get candy. Like, no.
They said the boogeyman comes out. And he falls in his pumpkin.
Yeah,
Just
poor.
laying
And he
there.
leaves
Sad.
it there.
Just leaves
he
it.
just leaves it there.
Leaves a big mess.
Why does he even have a giant pumpkin coming
At
home
school.
from school?
Yeah.
He won it.
None
in
of the
a-
other- none
he
of the
won
other
it
kids
in
had a pumpkin.
In a raffle.
Pumpkin walk.
Pumpkin walk.
Just like cakewalk,
Yeah.
but with pumpkins.
Oh, no,
Pumpkin walk.
you know what it was? The teacher felt bad for him.
Oh, yeah. Because
Probably.
Tommy.
And said, hey, Tommy, do you want to take this pumpkin home? It's
Yeah.
Tommy.
I'm
It's
sure you two have had a Tommy in your class.
I
No
think I
comment.
was Tommy.
Got to give that kid a
It
pumpkin.
definitely was.
I
Yeah,
was Tommy.
That's it. So-
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go to.
Oh, the other person I
Tommy
didn't
sucks.
like was Nurse Chambers.
Yeah, she's.
Why did you roll the window down, Nurse Chambers?
Yeah. Well,
She just wanted to
some of
see
the smoke
why
out.
it was on top.
Just leave the window up,
She survived.
put it in reverse, and go. But no, you had to check. You had to see what that
I
noise
do
was
like-
on the top of the car.
I do like him smashing the window with just the palm
bare
of his
hand.
hand.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, you
It's
can
good.
see the wrench.
The wrench.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can see.
So, all right. Category 6. Your favorite Mike Myers kill.
Oh boy, there was
So-
several of them.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, can you name them?
You can.
I have my.
Yeah,
How about you give us your favorite one?
Oh, okay.
And let the rest of us participate.
I went with the Linda Vanderklok.
Oh,
The-
yeah.
the
Strangled
Strangling.
to death with a telephone cord.
Yep.
But mainly because of the whole.
Rob likes it because of the boobs.
He does.
Well, you're bad.
New York
Yeah.
boobs.
Yeah, but the whole ghost thing. I thought the way
That was great.
I thought that was kind of a little. It was unexpected.
So-
that Michael Myers had the
Little
took the
joke with the
time
Bob's glasses.
to put cut holes
That's what
in
I'm
the
saying.
sheet, and then put Bob's glasses on.
But let's just go from
he,
this
he
angle.
really thought it through, and now and then to think that Linda thinks it's Bob killing.
Yeah, but let's think this
that's an
through
odd,
too, real quick. Loomis says he stared at a wall for 15 years.
Yeah.
Black eyes, nothing. Suddenly he develops this great sense of humor to pull a joke
That's what I mean.
on while he's murdering
Yeah.
someone. I don't understand
Yeah,
where
it
his
was
sense of humor comes from. He's
it-
been locked in a room.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, it'll make her laugh. I'm going to put this ghost sheet on.
I don't know how he's got muscles if he's been sitting there staring for 15
I know,
years.
that's the other
The
thing.
muscles would have atrophied.
Yeah.
He
Big
he
word.
strangled Annie with one hand.
Well, Annie lifted Bob
And
up
Bob
with one hand.
with one
Lifted
hand.
Bob up
Yeah.
with one
and
hand.
he skewered him to the wall. It's
And
not
he
gonna
ripped
happen.
the
But that
headstone
knife
out
was
of the
not
ground.
long enough.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So, all right. Well, what's yours, Kurt?
Mine was I put Sister Judy because you never forget your first.
That's right. By the way, I really like that. You're doing good today. By the way, I just want to throw in,
That's
it should have
awful.
been in my plot holes, but just to the beginning, kill. Let's start with that real quick. He's 6. He goes in to kill her. She's 16 years old.
Mhm.
Stand up and kick the little bastard across the room. I mean, even if he gets you with that first shot in the thing, push his little butt over. He weighs 4 pounds and then stand. Look, I'm telling you right now, if I get attacked by a 6-year-old, I'm kicking that little dude away from me. I don't care what's going on. Like, I can take a 6-year-old. And so she makes no effort. She just sits there and goes, Michael, while he's stabbing. Just, hey, stand up and push him over like he's 6, right? That's what I didn't understand. She's a teenager. Like, this doesn't have to be difficult. I know he has a knife. All right. After the first slash, because he goes shoulder. I watched it. He goes shoulder first.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell are you doing? Just knock him over. He weighs 60 pounds. Okay. If that. So
On that same vein, later in the movie, when Michael comes out of the closet to get Lori,
yes,
he gets her on the arm.
By the way,
He had
Michael
straight shot to the back. Bad
He's
aim.
got to have like nearsightedness or
But
something.
he gets,
'cause-
had he been
mask.
stabbed in the eye yet?
No.
No.
But the mask has the small hole.
He misses her twice real easy.
By
He's
the
got
way-
her from behind. She's not moving. She's
Yeah.
sitting there on the floor and he stabs the couch and is like 8 inches away.
That's
So-
why I think he's playing with her.
He's
toying with her.
You always think what I do on this podcast is aimless. But at the beginning of the show, I talked about how the condensation on the inside of the masks and all that.
No.
It all comes
Yeah.
back to this,
He
Rob.
was,
He couldn't see. It's hard, it's hard to stab. Although it feels like he had a lot of open space, even if,
Yes.
and to just take her shirt piece off.
Yeah, I know.
Tough.
No.
So
He had full, he was right
I
there.
think-
Full
yeah.
shot at the back.
I'm not stabbing anyone.
Right
And I
between the
think if
shoulder
you
blades.
told me stand here and cut her on a full swing,
I don't think you could.
cut her shirt, I'm pretty sure I'd get her in the shoulder. Yep, sorry, my bad.
You're getting something.
Yeah. So
Anyway. Look at us
Are you
talking
good?
about the
good.
art of murder.
do you feel? Did you feel like you had enough on that?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so that was your favorite kill.
Yep.
Was Judith because you always remember your first.
That's right.
And so I will.
It was a magical moment.
It was. Plus it had boobs.
Plus boobs.
Plus
boobs.
boobs.
Boobs
Oh, yeah.
first kill.
Yeah.
Gotta have it.
So Judith, 1963, stabbed 9 times.
Yes.
The mechanic beaten to death.
Yes.
Female dog in the Myers house was slammed against the wall and eaten. That was relived in a 2018 Halloween Kills.
Really bad.
They explain that.
Really bad.
Lester the dog strangled to death. Annie Brackett strangled before having her throat slit with a kitchen knife. Bob Sims briefly choked, then lifted before being stabbed in the chest with a kitchen knife and pinned
Can
to the
I?
cabinet.
Can I
And then there
quickly-
was Linda.
Can I quickly digress where my favorite kill,
Mhm.
because I hadn't done that yet,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
was the Bob kill.
Yeah.
Just because
one,
you hate Bob.
He had
because
it
I don't
coming.
like Bob.
You didn't like Bob.
And 2, I just liked how he picked him up and stabbed him. Although I do question.
There's
that-
no way those rickety doors are going to hold him up
No.
there.
And
that knife was not long enough.
long
And
enough.
the knife didn't seem long enough to get all the way to the wall
And
through his body.
And he didn't even slump over. He
didn't.
is flat to the wall.
He's flat to the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But my favorite part of that though is Michael's just staring
That's
there.
what. So
Yeah.
And his little
Yeah.
head.
do you
That was
see-
one of the few directions he gave Michael Myers throughout the entire movie was just do the head bob back and forth.
Do you see how you just steal? This was my turn
Yes.
for my favorite
Yeah.
Mike Myers kill.
Look
I was
at-
going to talk about
For
the head
once,
nod.
we have the vernacular.
That's right. Our vernacular is longer than yours.
Ah,
I see.
I see it's as long as mine. So, all right. Well, that takes us to category 7.
What is category 7?
Kurt's favorite category.
You better go first.
It's our Harry Temple. I should have stayed in Aspen moment.
Aspen it is.
So this is a moment in the movie when a character realizes or knows their own demise is coming, or something bad is about to happen.
Yeah.
So I'll go first.
You should
I'm
before
gonna-
we steal it.
You thieves in the night.
I think we. No. I'm not going
Right.
to say it.
Again, waiting on baby's breath. We're going to say that I'm going to go with Bob in the kitchen. Because when Bob turns around,
He knows.
he's like, yeah, he doesn't even make an effort to struggle. Or Bob's a pretty big guy.
Yeah, he was.
Feels like he could have fought back a little. Nope, he knew it was done. I'm all
muscular.
done. Yeah, I'm done here.
He was
Muscular.
athletic.
He seemed athletic. Yeah. I mean, I watched him rolling around in bed with a little girl.
Yeah.
He seemed like he had some
Yeah.
flips and moves going
Yeah,
on.
he did. Yeah.
So, all right.
It was totally
worth
it. Yeah.
magnificent, she called it.
Magnificent. That's what she.
I think she says the most magnificent thing ever or something like
Wow.
that was her line.
Yeah.
So,
Ooh.
what do you got, Kurt?
I went with Lori's face when she walks in and sees Annie laying on the bed with the headstone.
No, yeah.
Just the face of,
So
oh
you-
shit.
You think, yeah, as soon as she sees her, she's like, well, there, that's it.
Yep. And then it just gets worse from there.
Just worse.
Yeah. That's good.
That's good.
I had 2. But I'm going to go with I'm going to go with the one that I didn't write down because I just thought of it. At the end, Michael gets shot multiple times, goes over the railing.
6 times.
Perfect. 6 times.
He's laying in the ground.
Yep.
No
blood.
Loomis peeks over. He's gone.
Gone.
The look on Loomis's face
was I knew
He's
it.
like, oh crap.
The evil has left here.
This is gonna continue.
They actually filmed
there's going to be a sequel.
They filmed that scene twice because he was like, okay, how do you want me to play this? Do you want me to be freaked out because he's gone? Or do you want me to play it like I knew this was going to happen? So they did it both. And they went with the I knew this was going to happen.
Yep. See? So
because
the
he's
look
pure
of,
evil.
It's
evil.
It's not over.
Evil.
This is not over.
What's your second one?
Oh, my other one was Michael's stare after they take his mask off at the very beginning.
Oh yeah.
He's that there's nobody home. There's nobody home, and this is bad.
I always thought he looked a little goofy, if you want my honest opinion. He's just kind of
he's supposed to be a little goofy. He just killed somebody.
There's something wrong there. There's
Michael.
Michael.
We can't even go to a key party without you stabbing people.
Well, your father can't go to the key party without stabbing somebody either.
Oh, hey.
Damn.
Hey.
Man, you were on fire today. So, all right. Well, normally in the podcast, we'd jump in the car, take a little trip downtown, and look for Connor's Corner. But he's not here.
Yeah,
so
we
don't have Connor's Corner.
I tried to get my daughter to write one. But
she said no.
She said no more homework, Dad.
She missed the deadline.
And we got no entries. So,
That's all right.
So nobody wanted their Connor's Corner honorary read.
That's
so
all right.
that'll just take us to our final judgment of the film. So you two, this was your first time watching it. So I'll go with I still really like it. I will say that when I was a kid, I thought it was really scary. Now I don't really think it's super scary. I just think it's entertaining and thrilling to watch. It doesn't like scare not many movies do, but it doesn't really just terrify me or anything. So, but I think knowing its history and it being like the basis for horror franchises and the boogeyman that you can't ever kill and he just keeps coming back no matter what you do to him. Because in this movie, Michael Myers is stabbed in the neck, stabbed in the chest, stabbed in the eye, shot, falls from a second-story window, and just fine. Everything's good.
Just fine.
We're no problems here.
Yeah, we're good. We walk it off.
So for me, I watch it every Halloween, and I watched it with my boys, but they're not here this year, so I'm going to watch it by myself. Laura might come into the room and look at her phone and pretend as if the movie's happening, but or maybe I'll invite the movie hound over. We can watch. Maybe we watch it when we do our basement time.
Ooh, there we go.
Basement time.
But we got to watch Hubie Halloween, so that doesn't
true.
leave a lot of time.
Those are different sheets we have to see.
Different, yes, that is. So, all right. So, what do you think of? What's your final judgment?
My final judgment is it was a good movie. I definitely see how it started off the genre of the 80s horror movie. I do think it was better than like the Freddys and the Jasons that came after it. I think those ones were a little more campy, and this was filmed better. So John Carpenter did a better job.
He did. Better music.
Yeah, well, better music and just the cameras and everything else. He loved that new Panaglide camera where he was using the camera as a character.
I read that
good.
half the budget was on cameras.
Panaglide.
It was just on the camera.
I like it.
Yep.
Because he wanted to get a certain look. I think for me that I think it's a classic. I think it's the genesis of horror films, and I really liked it. I personally like John Carpenter, so I like he's got a certain look to his films, a certain sound to his films. I like The Thing. That's one of my favorite movies.
Rob's a big
he loves The
guy.
Thing,
and you can see a lot of the stuff in this movie that just the angles and camera and sounds and music.
And The Thing was in this movie.
So I like it.
That's good.
And I like that it wasn't overly gory. I think sometimes for the gore factor is just for. I
did miss a little blood just because of you stab someone, they are hanging on a wall. There should be some blood on the floor.
I thought the very end where
it's what we call a clean kill. Yeah, that's it. I don't know. Look, you're not David Caruso on Miami CSI.
No, I'm not.
He's really hanging in there.
We won't be fooled again. Anyway, stupid. No, I thought the very end scene where Michael's disappeared, and they just, to me, it's one of the spookiest scenes in the movie is when they flash back to all the places in the movie.
Oh yeah,
and
so that basically, when I was listening, they do that because he could be anywhere.
Yes, and you hear him breathing in the background. The dark living room the dark porch. I just thought that was really well done, and I thought that was one of the most scary because he could be anywhere. And I thought that, and his breathing in the background. I thought it was
very well done.
Well done. I thought
very well done. And my final thing will be best horror soundtrack or music accompaniment to any other horror movie I've watched.
Yeah,
agreed.
And that just reminded me of when we went to your house for a Halloween and your son dressed up as Michael Myers.
He did.
And he put the theme song on his phone on a loop.
He did.
And we were walking down the street and we passed this guy and the guy stopped and goes, "Oh shit, he's got a theme song."
Yeah. He had it in his pocket on the phone.
Oh, that's funny.
And it was really loud. And I mean, he went to doors and like people were laughing and they were like,
it was great.
That's the best thing we've seen all night. He's got the Mike Myers mask on, but the whole night he was walking around with that thing going do 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 on the loop. And people were stopping him. I mean, it was pretty cool. So, the wife came up with that. She put it in the pocket.
Points for Laurel.
Points for Laurel.
Clever.
We'll give her some points.
Clever girl.
Clever girl. Rob wants to do that one. He wants to put the lotion in the basket.
Yes, or else it'll get
You
the
don't
hose
know
again.
what pain is. Oh, wait, is she a big fat person? All right. Well, I think that covers everything we would ever want to know about Halloween. You got anything else?
I do not.
Close this thing down. All right. Well, if you're loving the blast from the past, make sure you take quick seconds, subscribe to the show if you haven't done so already, so you don't find yourself missing any episodes. And hey, we want to hear from you. Hit us up on X, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. We're on YouTube. Drop us a line. Tell us what your favorite 80s and 90s memories were, highlights of the show, or just say, hey, here's an idea. We'd like to hear it in the future, and we'll give it to Rob, and we'll see what he thinks about it.
That's right.
He's very particular, but he likes to at least mull over things.
I like what I like.
He'll look it over, and then he'll say yeah or nay. I might be able to convince him. So you send it into the show. I'll take care of the Rob part of it.
Hey,
all right, don't you worry. So
don't worry. I like what I like.
Yeah, he's very mercurial.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Vernacular.
Look at that. Baby's
breath. Bringing it back.
Baby's breath.
Well, batten down the hatches, old salts. We're about to embark on a voyage of nostalgia. Feeling like a student filmmaker who has hiked into the hills in a rural part of Maryland circa 1994. 1994. To film a documentary about a local scary myth.
Swedish chef.
Only to disappear and have your equipment and footage discovered a year later. If that's the case, just remember the Total 80s and 90s Recall podcast is the perfect complement to your listening experience and the perfect antidote to modern life. We are the Freddy to your Jason, the Hannibal to your Clarice, the Red Rum to your Danny. Visit Total 80s 90s Recall at podbean.com and we will have you saying, they're here in no time. If it's knowledge you seek, send us an email at 80s90srecall at gmail.com. Consider the Totally 80s and 90s Recall podcast your wonderland of wit and whimsy. Come visit a fantastical realm where logic and imagination intertwine, creating a world of endless possibilities and unexpected adventures. It's a place where the ordinary becomes extraordinary and the impossible becomes reality. At the Totally 80s and 90s Recall podcast, wit and whimsy reign supreme, guiding explorers through a labyrinth of puzzles, riddles, and magical encounters.
Quid pro quo, Rob. Quid pro quo.
I don't know what that means.
All right, listeners, if you enjoy our podcast and want to help us survive the horror of obscurity, give us a killer 5-star rating. Your support helps keep us alive and thriving, just like a horror movie sequel that keeps coming back for more. Also, please visit our merch store on our show's website to grab some killer merch that shows off your love for the podcast. Whether it's a cozy hoodie for the chilly nights or a mug to fuel your caffeine for late night horror movie marathons, we've got you covered. Don't let your love for our podcast fade into the shadows. Check out the store and get your gear today.
That's your best one.
That's my favorite one.
That's your best one?
Thank you.
A year and a half later. That's it. So you've set quite the bar for yourself.
And I shall lower it next time.
All right. So, well, we've stabbed him. We've shot him. Nothing's worked. So look out this October 31st as Michael Myers may still be wandering around. However, that brings us to the end of this week's episode for our look back at the 1978 horror classic Halloween. As always, we want to thank the movie Hound for sharing his cinematic expertise with us and not being too terrified this whole time. So I'm glad you were able to hold on.
I peed my pants twice.
I know. A couple. Well, you took a different route from Rob. So finally, a big shout out. Yeah, big shout out to you, our awesome listeners. Whether you're tuning in for the first time or you're a longtime subscriber, we can't thank you enough for hanging out with us each week. We hope you have given, we have given, you have given,
words,
we have given, Vernacular. Acting. All right. We hope we've given you a fun hour or so of laughs and memories. And don't forget, you can catch all new episodes. Totally 80s and 90s Recall every Tuesday. Like clockwork.
Every Tuesday.
Yes.
What are we doing next?
You got caught like in a thought right there.
Well, I was waiting for you to finish your thought. You did this.
Hey, mouth was open. Nothing.
You guys both pausing. You're thinking.
That was weird.
They're called awkward pauses.
Awkward pauses. Yeah, that was weird. So what are we doing next time?
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Let's get this thing going.
We're doing a Billboard Hot 100. We haven't done one in a long time.
Ooh.
We're going way back into time. Almost as far back as we're allowed to go on this show, even though we just went to 1978. We're going to the week of November 5th, 1981.
Ooh.
Rob was a big 4-year-old.
I was 2.
I was a big 5-year-old.
5. You were 2?
I was 2, listening to every album there was.
Weren't you? You were born in 1980, right?
79.
79, that's right. You just crept in. You were right before the 80s.
Right.
That's good. So 2-year-old Kurt and
your mom had the headphones on the belly. She was.
That's right.
Well, you were out by then. But
yeah, why would it still be on the belly?
Weird.
Did he go back in?
No, I did not.
It's cold out here.
It's cold. It's hot in there.
I'm going back. You can't stop me. So we're gonna look at our favorite songs from that Billboard that week in 1981 to see what America that year thought were the most popular 100 songs. I believe you've got the evens.
Sure.
Yep. We'll double check that, but I think you have the evens. I have the odds, and
I'll go check my notes.
Yeah,
as I prepare.
The day before.
Sometimes that morning.
Morning up.
I like to
morning up.
Cram.
He likes it to be. It feels like cramming, but he just wants it fresh. That's more how he sees it.
That's probably true.
That it's fresh.
Because I can't remember what it is.
That's right. So, all right. Well, you got anything else?
I have nothing else.
You got anything else?
Nope.
Fancy goodbye?
No fancy goodbye.
All right.
All right. Peace out.
Peace out.
Oh, goodness.
That was a
Michael.
That was a roller coaster.
That was something.
Emotions.
It's the boogeyman. The boogeyman.
How did that come up?
Because every good podcast should have a Quado in it at some point.
How does a Quado get brought up in a Halloween?
He's horrific.
That's right.
He was scary.
How is he not brought up on every Halloween episode?
Quaid. He's evil. Get him out of here.
The evil has left this place.